this in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here. This is our last full week of the NFL regular season. With the holidays right around the corner, we're going to be here some days. We're not going to be here some days, but we are going to be here every single day this week to recap the win against the Cleveland Browns. We will talk about Patrick Mahomes' injury. We're going to do that coming up in just a bit. We're working on having Patrick join us this week, but I'm not optimistic about Patrick Mahomes being on the show this week. We are also going to get you ready for their game on Saturday against the Houston Texans. We also have a college football playoff game coming up on Friday. I think that we are potentially heading towards the best sports weekend of the year with the college football playoff, multiple NFL games. There's a heavyweight championship fight this weekend. I think we are looking at potentially the best weekend in sports. My name is Carrington Harrison. Rob is here. Rob is going to be missing a lot of time these next couple of days. Rob is not locked in. I don't know what has happened, but this new married Rob Britton, he ain't as focused as the one before. The Rob that was single, that could stay up until 1, 2 o'clock, he was locked in. He was focused. This new one, he's a house cat. He's in the house. He's asleep by 8:15. I text him. I don't get a call back until the next day. He's moving funny. He's moving different. That's all I can say. We have so much to get into. We will talk about yesterday. We will talk about Patrick Mahomes. But before we do any of that, hit it, Rob.
Pizza time on The Drive. Carrington, dial me up right now. Call number 6, 913-586-7965. They win a pizza from our friends over at Pizza Tassio. Pizza Tassio is Kansas City's best New York-style pizza, and they have taken over the town. They lovingly use 100% whole milk mozzarella, all organic tomato sauce with locally grown fresh ingredients, all made by KC guys who both know and love pizza. They also have a killer selection of craft and local beers, plus unique wines. So whether you're hungry enough for a whole pie or just want a slice or two, be sure to visit them now. PizzaTassio.com. That's pizza, TASCIO.com.
I need you guys to do me 3 favors. Number 1, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number 2, I need you to tell 1 friend. It'd be great if you tell 2 friends, but I get it's the holidays. You're a little bit busy. Maybe you can only tell 1 friend. And you know what? I'd like for you to tell a random stranger today, happy holidays. That will make me happy. That will make you happy. That will make all of us happy. Let's get into this. And before we talk about Patrick Mahomes, I want to send a special shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I know that I've been hard on the Chiefs defense the last month or so. I'm hard on the Chiefs defense because I know what they're capable of. This is a team that last year arguably had the best defense in the National Football League, and there was a stretch there in which they were not playing up to their full capabilities. They did that yesterday. We talk about Jameis Winston and the turnovers and how Jameis can self-destruct at any moment. He got benched in yesterday's game. He was bad. There was never a time, there was never a stretch in the game in which you thought Cleveland was capable of winning that. They've had some games that were a little too close for comfort. They've had some last-second Hail Marys, plays, field goal kicks, blocks, all of those things. That is not the game formula from yesterday. The Chiefs dominated Cleveland from start to finish, largely because of their defense. So before we move forward in the show and talk about Patrick Mahomes, I want to give credit to where credit is due. The Chiefs' defense was phenomenal yesterday. And aside from one really broken play from Jerome Ford, the Browns didn't really do a whole lot yesterday offensively. This is a Chiefs team that had 10 takeaways coming into the game and got 6 yesterday. Every time Cleveland attempted a big play, a pass play down the field, the Chiefs took it away. The Chiefs punched the ball away. The Chiefs got pressure on Cleveland's quarterback. The Chiefs, for the most part, stopped the run. The Chiefs defense gets an A-plus effort to me. I was very, very impressed by the defense, and I want to see them continue to build on that. You've got Houston coming up. You've got Pittsburgh. You've got Denver. 3 teams with good quarterbacks, good coaches, talent around them. I want to see the Chiefs defense continue to take what they've done these last couple of weeks, holding teams under 21 points. A great effort yesterday in which they took the football away, and I want to see them continue that down the stretch. So nothing forward in this segment I'm going to say has anything to do with the defense. I want to give the defense all their credit. I want to give the defense all their flowers. The defense deserves it. This is the top story with the Chiefs. I don't know how many times I have been able to say this about Andy Reid, but Andy Reid failed Patrick Mahomes yesterday. There's no other way to put it. There is no other way to say it. Andy Reid failed Patrick Mahomes yesterday. For the first time in maybe 2 months, the Chiefs had a comfortable lead against their opponent. Yesterday was the time for you to put it on cruise control. Yesterday was the time for you to sit back and coast to a win. For whatever reason, in the second half of that game, the Chiefs just decided we're going to throw the ball all over the field. It was like the Chiefs haven't been paying attention to what's been happening for the last month with their team. Let me give you a stat. Did you know that on the season, Patrick Mahomes has been hit 67 times this year? Out of the entire season, 67 hits. Did you also know that 35 of those hits have happened in the last 4 games? Simply put, the Chiefs have not shown an ability to protect their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, and he has taken a lot of hits, a lot of pressure, a lot of damage the last month or so. And some of it was him holding on to the ball too long, problems at left tackle, which we'll get to. But nonetheless, 67 hits on the season, over half of them have happened in their last 4 games. When you got a chance with a comfortable lead, that is when you're supposed to get Mahomes out of harm's way. This is when you try to make his workload lighter. You try to make things easier on Patrick Mahomes, and the best way to do that is to hand the football off. And for whatever reason, with the Chiefs, with a double-digit lead against one of the 8 worst teams in the National Football League, they decided that was the time to air it out and keep letting Mahomes get hit and hit and hit. And I'm sitting there watching the game, and I imagine many of you are watching it thinking the exact same thing. Andy, run the ball. What are we doing here? The Chiefs had back-to-back possessions in which they had a 3-and-out, and they didn't run the ball one time on any of those possessions. For what? Why? What was the reason of bringing Isaiah Pacheco back if you don't want to run the football? In the middle part of the season, when the Chiefs' offense was flourishing, they were running the football 20, 25 times. And then one day, it's like they woke up and decided we don't want to do that anymore. For what reason? Why did the Chiefs let Patrick Mahomes continue to get beat up yesterday and at no point made the decision, hey, why don't we run the football and move him out of harm's way? Let me give you guys more stats. I just told you how many times Mahomes has been hit in the last month. Let me give you a stat about how they just refused to run the ball yesterday. The Chiefs had a 21-0 lead in the third quarter in yesterday's game. 21-0. This is when you take the air out of the ball. You don't care about how many points you win by. That's obvious based on how the Chiefs have played this season. You don't care if they win 42-0, but you got to keep 15 upright. They had a 21-0 lead early in the third quarter. They ran 22 plays after that. They called 6 run plays. How? How does that happen? How do you have 22 plays after you're up 21-0 and only 6 of them are run plays? That's the time to be pounding the rock. That's the time to control the line of scrimmage, give the ball to Pacheco, give the ball to Kareem Hunt, take the air out of the football, and tell Pat we got it on cruise control. The Chiefs yesterday had 22 plays in which they had a lead of 14 or more points, and they threw it 16 times and ran it 6. The numbers are supposed to be reversed. You know when they don't hit your quarterback? On run plays. You know when your quarterback's not taking punishment and damage? On run plays. You're fine if Kareem Hunt's taking that damage. You're fine if Isaiah Pacheco, you're fine if Carson Steele or whomever you want to give the carries to, Samaje Perine. The Chiefs, when they got up 14 or 21, they were acting like they were the losing team and were throwing the ball all over the field. Andy is one of the greatest coaches we have ever seen. But yesterday, the play calling, the situational football at the end of the first half when it was obvious confusion and Andy just kind of threw his hands up there and was like, you guys figure it out. When they had a timeout, they didn't go for fourth down early in the game, but then when they're up 14 points late in the game, they make the decision to go for it on fourth down. It was just confusing yesterday. Andy Reid failed Patrick Mahomes yesterday. Your number one responsibility is to keep him upright, keep him safe and out of harm's way. And for whatever reason, late in that game, all they did was put Patrick Mahomes in situations to get hit. And if you've been hit 35 times in the last 4 games, you know what one of those hits can potentially do? One of those hits can potentially put you on the IR. One of those hits can potentially get you injured. And lo and behold, it happened late in a meaningless game for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's on the infrastructure. That's on the head coach. I can't put that on anybody else. We can take you guys' phone call on this, 913-586-7965. Maybe you guys completely disagree. We can talk about it. But yesterday, and Patrick Mahomes getting hurt is on the head coach. It is your job to protect your players. And number one, it is your job to protect the money. There is no Super Bowl. There is no three-peat without 15. Why is he throwing the ball so much in the fourth quarter of a game that you have completely in control over a team that's not going anywhere? How can you have 22 plays with a 14-point lead and run the ball 6 times? That's the time to give the ball to Kareem Hunt. That's the time to give it to your running backs. And the Chiefs yesterday at every single turn refused to run the football, refused to save Patrick Mahomes, and ultimately it got him hurt yesterday. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Well, guys, you did it again. Even though Christmas is on the same date every year, you got busy, and now it's crunch time. And you got nothing for her. Well, that's not exactly true. You got me. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, where there are 3 things we do better than anyone else. We have better diamonds at better prices than even the online guys. We have the most skilled and technologically advanced custom jewelry shop within 200 miles. And no one, I mean no one, personally takes care of last-minute shoppers like I do. Hey, until I opened House of Diamonds, that last-minute guy was me. So I get it. Come in and see me. I'll show you a collection of one-of-a-kind pendants, earrings, bracelets, and rings that will blow her away. She'll think you started working on this back in July. Fellow procrastinators, I've got your back. Come see me at House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, except the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to a charity of your choice to help those in need this holiday. These charities include the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Meals on Wheels, and the National Park Foundation. And locally, you can choose the Hillcrest Transitional Housing. Have some fun this holiday and fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
Pizza just goes better with Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Pizza.
Thank you. But don't take our word for it. In fact, don't take any words for it. Crispy and cheesy, paired with delicious and refreshing. My mouth is watering already. Ooh, too high. Yeah, we've all been there. Every bite is better with Pepsi.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop D-O-double-G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line, plus 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O-double-G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that J.
With 24-month bill credits for eligible trade-ins and 4 new lines with autopay. Well-qualified customers with taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits or credit stop and balance on required finance agreement is due $999.99. Credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Hollywood Brown. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
All right. I want to respond to some of these texts. We're going to be joined by Dr. Jesse Morse here coming up in a bit. 913-586-7965. My frustration yesterday is I think that Andy Reid unnecessarily put Patrick Mahomes in harm's way. We are talking about a game in which the Chiefs were up 21-0, and yesterday they ran more pass plays than run plays. We were talking about that the Chiefs had 22 plays in the game in which they had at least a 14-point lead. They threw it 16 times, and they ran it 6 times. Let me read some of these text messages. 913-586-7965. C-Dot, meanwhile, everyone bitches when we don't keep our foot on the pedal. You can't have it both ways. The Chiefs wanted to hit kill shot passes. They just missed. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. The pass game was not working yesterday. Patrick Mahomes completed 50% of his passes. It was the worst completion percentage he's ever had as a starter. The Chiefs dropped back with Patrick Mahomes 38 times yesterday. He got hit 12 of those times. The pass game was not working yesterday. In the second half, up 21-7, Rob, they had 2 possessions with less than 20 minutes into the game. They had 2 drives like this. They had 2 drives. They threw it all 6 times on those 2 drives. All of them were incompletions. Patrick Mahomes got hit on 3 of those 6 pass plays, and they took 47 seconds off the clock. I'm sorry, you cannot defend the play calling yesterday. It is impossible to defend it. It's less than 20 minutes in the game. Run the football. You don't trust Isaiah Pacheco? You don't trust Kareem Hunt? You don't trust your ability to run for first downs and move the clock and continue to move the football? You have to be in hurry up mode throwing the football? It didn't make any sense to me. Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, you're acting like they haven't won Super Bowls in the past doing this exact same thing. Mind-boggling decisions during meaningless games in the regular season that end up playing off in the playoffs. They're tinkering, and there's always a risk to it. Their offensive line is bad. This is not like other years. It's not. They've had 4 different guys start at left tackle on this team. It's not fair to put this in the same category as last year or 2 years ago. The Chiefs do not have their offensive line figured out. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. The guy that they thought was their starting left tackle to kick the season off, we will never hear from him or see from him again. The guy that they drafted last year in the 3rd round to be his replacement, they are terrified to ever put him in the game. The guy that they just signed to come in and help solidify this offensive line is already hurt, and he's on the training table right next to Patrick Mahomes. They had to move their left guard over to left tackle yesterday. So no, I'm not fine with just continuing to throw the football here and acting like they don't have a problem with the offensive line. Give the ball 20 times yesterday to Kareem Hunt. What's the worst thing that can happen? They win? Give the ball 20 times to Isaiah Pacheco. What's the worst thing that can happen in this scenario? Your quarterback is not getting hit on run plays. He is not scrambling around on run plays. The clock is continuously moving on run plays. 913-586-7965. We are going to be joined by Dr. Jesse Morris here in a little bit. I do want to get his opinion on the Patrick Mahomes injury and what he thinks it means for the rest of the season. Where are you at, Rob? Because you are normally anti-running the football. The Chiefs ran your kind of game plan yesterday. The Chiefs ran 40 pass plays. They had 35 run plays. Patrick threw it 38 times. They gave Kareem Hunt 13 carries. They gave Isaiah Pacheco 13 carries. They tried to get Xavier Worthy involved in the run game. I do think he was a positive for this team yesterday. They just didn't really show a great commitment to running the football, especially with the lead. It is odd at times watching the way that they balance plays. The Chiefs are more aggressive running the football when they're losing than when they're winning. That's the time to grind it, run down the clock, control the line of scrimmage, and protect your quarterback, and they just refuse to do that late in the game.
So here's the thing. I think the Chiefs were in a little bit of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because nothing was really working. I agree with you. I would have liked to see more runs when they were up. I would have. And I hate running backs and I want to run the ball. But it wasn't like the run game was popping for big hitters left and right. I understand why Andy Reid, who is a pass-first coach and will always be a pass-first coach, there's a reason the run the ball Andy hits Twitter every game, not just the Browns game. It's because he prefers to pass the ball. It wasn't like the run game was giving him great reason to go to it in big numbers. But somehow the pass game was worse. And I do think they failed him by not running the ball more. I understand what Reid was trying to do because the pass game has felt off all season. It felt off yesterday, and he was essentially using this time to work out the kinks, but those kinks that they were trying to work out are the thing that got Mahomes hurt. They do not have a left tackle, and we will talk about it later in the show. Joe Thuney was bad. DJ Humphries was, I guess, short-lived. We'll see with his health. Wanye Morris was bad. Kingsley Suamataia was worse. They don't have a left tackle. They have offensive line issues. Mahomes cannot hit on deep balls right now. That is an issue. There are lots of issues, and I understand why Andy Reid was trying to use the Browns second half to work through some of them, but that risk-reward game blew up in his face because the risk then outweighed the reward, especially when none of the problems got fixed. And guess what? The risk also hit home.
Text line 913-586-7965. We can continue to read your text messages on this. Very simply, I think that Andy Reid failed Patrick Mahomes yesterday with the play calling in the second half. I think the Chiefs should have ran the football more to keep Patrick Mahomes upright and out of harm's way. And I don't think they did that yesterday. Just with the way the play calling was, the flow of the game, it made absolutely no sense to me how they called things in the second half of the game. Let's go to the phone lines right now to be joined by Dr. Jesse Morris. He is with the Injury Experts. He has been covering NFL players and their health for the last 25 years. Dr. Morris, we appreciate you calling into the show today. Thanks a bunch. Let's start with this. This is not Patrick Mahomes' first ankle injury. Is there an advantage to the staff having to deal with this in the past with the other ankle injuries that he's had?
Definitely. Unfortunately, those are just the ones that we know about. The staff is well aware, and he's well aware of what he can do, what he can't do, what he should be able to do this week, what he'll be able to do the following week. And grade ones, as frustrating as they are, because he's not what I call a position player, so your wide receivers or your running backs or tight ends, he's not running routes. It won't bother him as much. I mean, he'll still have issues mobilizing in the pocket and stepping into his throws. This is his back leg, so trying to push off may be a little frustrating. But he's done this before. He knows the routine. He knows what works for him and what doesn't work for him. He might, sleep in a hyperbaric chamber. He might just work with a lot of PTs. He may do some underwater work, which helps take stress off it. I don't think he's going to go for injections, but maybe that's an option. Maybe he wears a certain type of ankle sleeve or support to help decrease some of that pain and stress. There's different things. I use something called a PEMF, which is a magnet that you can help to speed up the healing. You can also use red light therapy for this. So he'll know different things that you can do to improve the blood flow to the area, which thereby improves the healing and decreases the swelling and inflammation.
Right now, we're talking to Dr. Jesse Morris, learning a little bit more about the injury to Patrick Mahomes. You mentioned it just a bit. Let's dive a little deeper into it. What is the recovery time for an injury like this, and is there long-term effects? You mentioned it just a little bit, that this possibly could have been avoided by surgery. Certainly understand why you don't want to have surgery on this and you want to let it naturally heal. But do you think this is something that they're going to have to address in the offseason to maybe curb this just a little bit moving forward?
That's a good question. In general, if he won't feel 100% probably for the next 5 to 6 months, to be honest with you. These are very frustrating injuries. Even a couple months out, some of the players, especially the ones that are running routes and cutting, they just don't feel as confident. This is very common to lose explosiveness. So this is classic for zapping explosiveness. They have trouble coming out of routes and stuff like that. That doesn't really apply to Mahomes, but when he's training, he's going to do a lot of that stuff. No, I don't think he'll probably undergo surgery here, because a lot of the guys, if they have surgery, it feels they restrict them, like they can't do certain things that they would previously be able to do. Yes, they may feel more confident that ankle, but if they try to avoid the high ankle, we've also seen some interesting things. A year later, some guys, they get other types of injuries because the ankle doesn't quite move like it should be able to move. But in general, if he was a position player, he would probably miss 2 to 3 weeks if another player, say Kelsey or Juju or somebody, one of the position players that are running routes, if they suffer this is a 2 to 3 week injury on average. These are very frustrating. A lot of the quarterbacks have a tendency to try to power through. Trevor Lawrence did that earlier this year. Justin Herbert did that last year. They just try to power through because they're such a vital part of the team, and they want to secure that number one spot. Maybe if they're up big, they'll let Wentz kind of go in a little bit. But if I were a betting man, I would say he's on the field next week.
I was just going to ask that. It sounds to me like you think he's going to play. I bring that up because if you look at the point spread, they have Houston as a slight favorite in this game, 2.5 points. Vegas, the odds makers are telling me they don't think he's going to play. But you're the doctor here. It sounds like you think there's a chance that he could play on Saturday.
I know his history well. I don't know him personally, but I study NFL players and injuries. I've been doing this since 2017. So there's certain guys that you will have to chop off their leg to get them out of the field, and this is one of those guys. They're in a good position right now, so maybe they say, hey, no, we're going to have you take off this week. But if it's up to him, he's going to play. That's just who he is. That's just the caliber of competitiveness he has. He has never missed a game due to an ankle injury, and this is number 6. So if history is any indicator, he will play through this like he has the others.
So it sounds to me like you believe that he can play. I guess I'm asking your opinion here. Would you play him? Because I'm thinking of what are the positives in this scenario? What are the negatives in this scenario? And with the playoffs right around the corner, I don't know if I'm personally willing to roll the dice on a regular season game. I personally wouldn't play Mahomes here, but you're the doctor. Would you play him on Saturday?
So he still has 3 regular season games, likely a bye, maybe not. We'll see. Is he at higher risk for re-injury and worsening this injury like he did a couple of years ago? Yes. If he took 2 to 3 weeks off, would he perform better? Maybe a little bit, but probably not a whole lot. And would he lower his risk of re-injury? Yes, but I don't think missing the time, in my opinion, for his specific position is worth unless it's not a true grade 1. If it's grade 2, it's a different story. But even then, he's powered through. I just think there's a very good chance that he's going to play through this because he knows his importance to the team.
Last thing here, is there a chance, possibly, that the Chiefs wouldn't play him on Saturday and they would maybe target the game against Pittsburgh more and kind of give him those extra 3-4 days of recovery time? Because they do have 2 games in a very short, condensed period of time.
Yeah, that's the one caveat that I think could switch this, because they have that weird Christmas Wednesday game. That turnaround, especially on a high ankle, from Saturday to, even though it's an extra day, 3 games in 10, 12 days, whatever the time period is a very short amount of time, and it's a lot of stress on that ankle. So if there's any reason why they're going to hold him out, it's probably because of that relatively important game against the Steelers.
That is Dr. Jesse Morse joining us on the show. He is with the injury experts. Wanted to get his opinion on the Patrick Mahomes high ankle sprain. Very simply put, I'm not letting Patrick Mahomes play on Saturday against the Houston Texans. And I think the responsibility of Andy is to save Patrick from himself. Patrick is a football player. And football players are always going to try to play football. Everything you are told when you play football is the difference in being hurt and being injured. I don't believe that Patrick Mahomes is injured. I believe that Patrick Mahomes is hurt. If tomorrow was a playoff game, I think that Patrick could play and could still play at a relatively high level. I think we've seen that before. I think that Patrick could have went in the game yesterday if it had been meaningful, if the Chiefs needed him to come in there and win. So I am not denying whether or not Patrick Mahomes is going to be fine moving forward or if the Chiefs are going to be able to manage the injury or so. You would have to do a lot of convincing to get me to see what the positives are for Patrick playing on Saturday, as opposed to what I see are the negatives of him playing on Saturday. And there are way more negatives than positives. This is where you as the head coach have to step in and you have to save the football player from himself. No. Patrick, I know that you want to play. I know that you want to be out there for your guys. You're going to come in here and curse and be mad, and I don't care. No, you're not playing. I want you to take this week and I want you to fully focus on your recovery and getting as close to 100% for the games that we really need. And if that means that we got to go on the road in the playoffs, you know what? Fine. We've been on the road in the playoffs before, and that might make you a little bit mad, but I have to do what is in the best interest, not only for you, but for everybody. This is why you go get Carson Wentz. You go get Carson Wentz for this kind of moment. Patrick Mahomes is on the fence, but because you've played so well throughout the season and taken care of your business, you can start Carson Wentz at home against who, in my opinion, is the worst team in the AFC playoffs. Behind a home crowd that is going to try to give the Chiefs every boost that they can to be the 12th man. Patrick, no. In fact, we're not even letting you dress out. We're going to make you inactive. We're not even entertaining the possibility that you can go out there and play on Saturday. So you can be mad, do whatever you need to do to get over it, but you need to go down there and work with Julie. The same Julie that you were praising last year for the Super Bowl and how she got you ready, you need to spend extra time with Julie. In fact, I know you got a guest bedroom. Julie should stay over. You should be working with Julie right now. When we're all watching that Monday Night Football doubleheader later today, you need to be working with Julie. And you need to be doing that for the next 2 weeks. Now, this is a week-by-week thing. If you win this game against the Houston Texans with Carson Wentz, which the Chiefs can win this game on Saturday with or without Patrick Mahomes, then let's evaluate where we are for the Pittsburgh Steelers game. That gives you 10 days of recovery, 10 days of rest, and I'm willing to reevaluate my stance on Sunday after we know the result of the game. But there is not a scenario to me in which I would play Patrick Mahomes on Sunday or Saturday against Houston Texans, at least for me. 913-586-7965. Maybe you would play Patrick Mahomes. Not me. What are the positives in playing Patrick Mahomes? The positive is potentially locking up the 1 seed, right? And that is a huge positive. You can still win this game with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a former NFL starter, a guy who I believe should have won NFL MVP at one point in his career. If you show a commitment to running the football and you continue to play defense like you just did on Sunday against Houston, you can win this game. It's not going to be easy. It ain't easy when Patrick is the starter. You can win this game, though. I'm not playing him. Very simply, no. I do not think there is anything that will happen this week that will move me from this opinion, Rob. I would not play Patrick Mahomes on Saturday against the Texans.
Well, me and you are in lockstep, buddy. Because I think having him with 10 days to get ready for the Steelers and then another 10-plus days on the back end to get ready for the Broncos and then potentially 2 weeks ready for the postseason, limiting stress on his body is more important than being the Texans. I also think Andy Reid's an offensive genius, and I know we're crushing him for his decision-making, and that's fair, but I think Andy Reid can win a football game with Carson Wentz. There's absolutely no reason for Mahomes to be on the field. We talked ad nauseum last week about how horrible this stretch is on the body. He's going to be at less than 100% and you're going to run him out there? No, don't do that. You got to protect Patrick from himself and say, okay, you're in street clothes on Saturday. Carson Wentz, go get him. And because the Bills lost to the Rams, you have an extra game of padding on the standings. You can lose on Saturday with Carson Wentz and still get the 1 seed, which is the ultimate goal, getting the 1 seed. That's priority number 1. So do not risk Mahomes' health even further with a bad offensive line against a good pass rushing team on short rest to then turn around and short rest him again just to beat the Texans. No. I'm sorry. If, I'm Andy Reid and I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm sorry, buddy. But no. You can watch from the suite, you can watch from the sidelines, but you cannot watch with pads on because we cannot risk you playing this game. There is too much to lose and not nearly enough to gain.
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, it's as simple. If he's cleared, he will play. It's pretty cut and dry here. Either way, he's getting at least 1 week off before the playoffs. I do not care if he's cleared to play. Again, this is the difference to me between being hurt and injured. I do not think that Patrick Mahomes is injured. I don't think he's going on the IR. I don't think he is missing a playoff game, and I think he could play on Saturday. We have seen him play with twisted ankles before. He has had this injury at least 5 other times. So I am not debating with you if he is hurt or injured. He is certainly hurt, not injured. Convince me of what the positives are, and we can go through the negatives. We can go through the pros and cons exercise. We got a lot of time between now and Saturday. We got 20 hours. We can go through the pros of Patrick playing. We also can go through the negatives. He has been hit 35 times in their last 4 games. This is what the 13-1 gets you. It gets you a break. It gets you a reset. Your quarterback has taken a lot of hits and a lot of punishment. A lot of punishment. No. I'm okay. No thanks. You got it. You're all right. Text line, you guys are making a game time decision about Mahomes at 2:40 on a Monday afternoon. You're ahead of yourselves. That's fine. There is not a single scenario in which I would play Patrick Mahomes on Saturday's game. Not a one. Not a single one that I would have him out there. I do not see the positives in it. You can win this game with Carson Wentz. You absolutely can win this game with Carson Wentz. Run the football. protect the ball, play good defense, you can win this game against Houston. I just saw them struggle against the Miami Dolphins at home last week. You can win this game. Do that. Show a commitment to run the football, come out and play good defense, home field advantage, play energized, play fast. You can win this game. This is the same team that I've seen win closeout playoff games with Chad Henne, right? And Matt Moore. It's the same team that I've seen do those things, right? They can win this football game with Carson Wentz. He is a legitimate starter in the National Football League. This ain't Shane Buechele, who we've never seen before. This is a guy that has played and won big games before and came into the league as a highly touted prospect. You can win with Carson Wentz. Patrick, sit down. Just chill out. You guys were worried about him against the Pittsburgh Steelers 2 weeks ago. Now I'm on the side of, hey, maybe we shouldn't play the Houston game in which you couldn't finish it and we saw you limping off the field. Now it's like, no, play him. No, stop. Not at all. Sit down. Chill out. Stop. Let's take a little bit of a rest here. Heal up. And then come back ready, focus, and let's try to go win this Super Bowl. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about the Heisman Trophy, and Jay Glazer talked to 13 general managers in the league. This is what they think about Travis Hunter as a pro prospect. We'll play it for you next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now, Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Looking for last-minute gifts? Shane Company can help, even if you're still planning to propose. We have a wide selection of hand-picked diamonds and colorful gemstones in stock for dream engagement rings. Come discover fine jewelry gifts in every price range, curated by our in-house design team and crafted with care to our high-quality standards. At Shane Company, we'll protect your gifts with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Visit shaneco.com to find your store's extended hours and the perfect holiday gifts. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
December deals just dropped at Lowe's. Get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional $75 off every $1,000 you spend on select kitchen major appliances from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Amana, and Maytag. Also, save $20 on a Craftsman VersaStack rolling tool chest. Now just $69.98. Lowe's knows deals. Valid 12/12 through 12/18. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The college football playoff is here, and you don't want to miss a moment of the action. With the new 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever. TNT's coverage of the college football playoff begins December 21st with SMU battling Penn State at noon Eastern. Then, Clemson Tigers look to upset the Texas Longhorns in a showdown at 4 p.m. Eastern. Watch the college football playoff, presented by Allstate on TNT and Max.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. And tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's. That means it's time to save big on your next job. Right now, get your choice of 5-gallon pails of Valspar Signature Ceiling Paint or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Flat Ceiling Paint for just $148. Plus, get it delivered to your job site with free same-day delivery when you order by 2 p.m. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 12/20. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. And tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 53.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Welcome to your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
We'll get back to the Chiefs coming up at the top of the hour. I do want to play this audio for you guys. Before we do that, I don't know why we are acting so weird about Travis Hunter. Maybe this is just how we cover athletes in 2024, and I just got to adjust to it. Over the last 5 days, we spent arguing that Nick Nash should have won the Biletnikoff over Travis Hunter. Nick Nash, who is in the same high school graduating class as Amon-Ra St. Brown and plays for San Jose State. People were arguing that he should have won the award over Travis Hunter. That was weird thing number one. And I've just sat back and I've seen all these fully grown adults arguing about a relationship between teenagers, him and his fiance, girlfriend. I don't know their relationship. Bro, I don't care. I really don't care. And it makes me wonder why you care so much. You're 42, you've been divorced, and you got a kid. Why are you worried about Travis Hunter's relationship? That is weird to me. It's just weird. I don't understand. That's what I've seen the internet do for a weekend. People on YouTube making videos about it, talking about it, breaking down videos. It's bro, they're 19, 20 years old. I don't care about any of this nonsense. It's silly is what it is. Let's talk about Travis Hunter, the football player, who is going to be a top 5 pick in next year's NFL draft. So Jay Glazer was on Fox. You guys know he is one of the more connected and plugged-in men in the National Football League. He talked to a handful of NFL general managers. This is what they think about Travis Hunter.
I actually spent the morning reaching out to 13 different GMs and head coaches. I asked exactly that question, and it was overwhelming cornerback. Now, look, the one GM who said I would put him at wide receiver, the reason why? Elite ball skills. Everybody else said corner. Why? Elite ball skills. But they said it's just so hard to find a shutdown corner like that. However, they all said, even though we start him at cornerback, we're definitely find packages in place for him on the offensive side of the offensive side of the ball. Just a different type of cat.
We have a lot of time to talk about this with Travis Hunter, and I don't want to get too far away from the Chiefs, so we'll get back to him in just a bit. My stance on Travis Hunter as an NFL prospect is going to be very simple. If you are only planning on playing him at one of those two things, I do not think you should use the top 5 pick. And I love Travis Hunter. You are not using the top 5 pick if you're only going to play him at corner or you're only going to play him at wide receiver. I just think there's going to be better value. But if you have an idea and a plan in place to fully take advantage of his unique skill set, then you absolutely should use a top 5 pick on him. If your plan is to make him a top 20 wide receiver and you're also going to use him in certain packages as a corner and he's going to be able to help you out in that way, that's maximizing the value of who he is as an athlete and who he is as a player, and that's a player that's worthy of using a top 5 pick. He is the most interesting NFL draft prospect that we have ever had. And if you're only going to use him as a corner, I mean, cool. I think he can be a really good corner in the league. I don't think he's the number 2 overall pick at corner. I don't think he's at wide receiver. So you got to have a little bit of vision, and you got to be willing to be a little bit unconventional. The reason it works so well in Colorado, for my opinion, is I think Deion sees himself in Travis. Hey, this is who I could have been if coaches had just let me be free. They never really let Deion be free, at least not on offense. Certainly on defense, he kind of had his own rules. When you're the best cover corner of all time, you can kind of make your own rules. And they let him be free on special teams. He's one of the best kick and punt returners of all time. But that's not really how they used him as a wide receiver. And I think the pull for Travis to basically follow Deion Sanders everywhere Deion was going to go is, I'm the only coach that understands you as a prospect and as an athlete, and I'm going to make sure you get taken care of. And it worked out. I know people were critical of Travis in the beginning and unsure if it was going to translate from Jackson State to Colorado. He was one of the best players, if not the best player in college football. And I know there's a debate on the Heisman Trophy. There's a debate on this show. I would have voted for Travis to win the award. Rob would have won for Ashton Jeanty to win the award. When you look at the vote and the way it broke down, it was pretty close. This was the closest race we've had since, 2009? It's a legitimate argument. If you're arguing Jeanty should have won the award, I can't tell you that you're wrong. That's not who I would have voted for, but there certainly is a strong case for Jeanty winning the award. But Travis won this award because there has never been a player like him before. There's going to be somebody pretty close to Ashton Jeanty next year. Really good running back, really good player that helps guide his team to the postseason, and I'm not here to diminish that at all. We saw Travis be a top 5 wide receiver in college football, also one of the 10 best defensive players, play all the snaps, stay healthy this season, and be a difference maker and turn a program around. That's a player, to me, worthy of winning the Heisman Trophy, and that's why I would have voted for him. And ultimately, that's why I believe Travis Hunter won. Let's get back to the Chiefs here for a little bit, Rob. We haven't talked about this, but I think now's a good time based off what happened yesterday and him getting another sack. You want to know the player who has benefited the most from Charles Omenihu being back? And I guess before we highlight this player, we got to highlight Charles Omenihu. Charles Omenihu had a Neil Smith kind of move coming off the edge. Beat the tackle, comes around, clean, knocks the football out of Jameis Winston's hand, forced fumble. They have not had a play like that all season. They did not have a player capable of doing that, and that includes Chris Jones just because of the attention that he gets from the other team's offensive line. George Karlaftis has been a different player with Charles Omenihu on the field. This is the player that I thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year. I was expecting him to take that next step and be a guy who could get 11 or 12 sacks this season. That's who he's been since Charles Omenihu has been back. He has had his 2 best games since Omenihu has come back, and I don't think that that's a coincidence. Now that the attention is spread out, you know that Chris Jones is going to get a lot of attention. You have to give a lot of attention on the other side to Charles Omenihu. It creates way more one-on-one opportunities for George Karlaftis that he's winning at a pretty consistent level. This defense is starting to get back on track now with Charles Omenihu coming back, and it is really starting to unlock things. We saw Chris Jones have a couple of sacks a couple of weeks ago, and we also saw George Karlaftis, who I believe has 3 sacks in his last 4 games. George Karlaftis has been a different player now that this defensive line, Rob, is fully intact.
I was looking at the stats the other day because we were talking about the pass rush last week and how it's been lacking. And one thing I noticed was last year around this time, George Karlaftis got hot. And he actually had 3 sacks in the postseason. He had 3 sacks in the final 5 games. Like, George Karlaftis got hot last year, and that defense went from good to great. And you could point to, hey, George Karlaftis got going. Man, it feels like ever since Omenihu has returned, you might be seeing that again. A guy who a lot of people thought was going to take another next step forward. He was good as a rookie, got better his second year. A lot of people thought, oh, it's time for the next step. that hasn't really happened yet. But ever since Aminu got back on the field, he has looked more dangerous. He has looked more problematic. And a pass rush that is really in desperate need of getting back to form, which could protect the secondary. The best way for him to get back to form is George Karlaftis looked like it did in the postseason last year, where he was a menace. The Bills couldn't block him. The Ravens couldn't block him. The Dolphins couldn't block him. The Niners couldn't block him. If George Karlaftis is going to be that guy again, a lot of the issues on defense start to dissipate, and they can get back to being that group. They looked like that group yesterday. That was against Jameis, who loves to give the ball away, but it still counts. Karlaftis might be key for a Chiefs three-peat.
One thing that I liked a lot about the Chiefs defense yesterday is they knew the scouting report on Jameis and really took chances to try to force interceptions. That first interception by Brian Cook, you cannot make a better play as a safety. You come over the top, great catch, held on to the ball. The Chiefs were more aggressive, I think, with their secondary just because you know you're going to get those opportunities. If you're sitting there watching film and you know that Jameis is going to throw 3 or 4 interceptable balls that you can make a play on, man, I want to get one of those. I want to make a big play. And I thought the Chiefs defense did that yesterday. They were very aggressive in trying to punch the ball loose. The Chiefs defense won them that game. They created short fields for the offense. They held the Browns to 7 points. They forced turnovers. The Chiefs defense was exceptional yesterday, and in my opinion, that's why they won. Coming up on the other side, I do want to get back to something that Dr. Moore said in relation to Patrick Mahomes, and there might be an uncomfortable message that needs to be given to Patrick Mahomes. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Fellas, the holidays are here, the season of joy and cheer. But if your energy is low, you're not sleeping as well, and maybe your sex drive is left, it can be hard to be excited in the middle of all these festivities. If that sounds like you, if that sounds familiar, you could simply be dealing with low testosterone or low T. As we get older, fellas, our testosterone drops 2 to 3% every year starting in your early 30s. And over time, you might notice a decrease in libido, weight gain, poor sleep, or even a little bit of brain fog. So how do you know for sure? It's simple. Pick up your phone right now and visit heartlandmenshealth.com and take their 2-minute low T quiz. Then schedule a $99 consult, which includes lab work and a medical review. You'll get your results within 30 minutes. And if you start treatment that day, then your visit is free. Don't wait. Take the first step to feeling like yourself again. Go visit heartlandmenshealth.com today.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there. With information coming at us all day, every day, it's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Hey, it's Alex Gold from Max Motors in Belton, and before we know it, we're going to have inches and inches of snow on the ground. And I know none of us want it, but it's going to happen. We've all lived in Kansas City long enough to know the snowstorm will be here before we know it. And you want to make sure you have a reliable vehicle that can handle that kind of weather. That's why I was excited when I had a chance to go down to Max Motors and test drive the 2024 Jeep Compass 4x4. One of 25 in stock right now. A new 2024 Jeep Compass 4x4 starting at just $24,995. Stock number 90114. And maybe you got a bigger family. You got to take the kids to soccer practice. You just want to have a little bit more room. They also have new 2024 Chrysler Pacificas up to $11,000 off MSRP. Stock number S240345. And maybe it's time for you just to trade in that vehicle. Max Motors has the best financing options available with the max trade-in values in the Midwest. See dealer for details. It's Max Motors, just a short drive to Belton. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car. MaxMotors.com.
Are you in need of top-quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Thronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg. Just the Foot.
Tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti to hear the Sims Spotlight featuring Super Bowl winning quarterback Phil Simms. Brought to you by Balance of Nature. Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Don't believe me, believe the Better Business Bureau. 5 stars for GiveMeTheVin.com. The rest of them are 1 stars. America's best car buyer, GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
The Gingerbread Holiday Pop-Up at T-Mobile Center. The Gingerbread is Kansas City's newest and most delicious destination this holiday season. Located at Conica Minolta Founders Club inside T-Mobile Center, the Gingerbread is a magical, one-of-a-kind experience where you can celebrate in style. You'll love it. Visit t-mobilecenter.com for more.
Listen to the Chiefs and Texans game on Saturday with pregame starting at 9. Kickoff at noon with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we are going to be joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Earlier today on the show, we had Dr. Jesse Morse. He has been covering NFL players for 25 years. He is with the Injury Experts, and we asked him a little bit more information about Patrick Mahomes and his injury. I want to play this for you. So this is a really good explanation at what the difference is between a low ankle sprain and a high ankle sprain. Here is Dr. Jesse Morse.
And the problem is when you suffer a high ankle sprain and you try to put your foot down, the lower leg bones want to separate depending on the severity of the ankle sprain. So unlike a classic lateral ankle sprain where you have a mild one, you could walk it off and it's not a big deal, a mild high ankle sprain is really, really frustrating, and they usually take anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks depending on the position and how damaged the ligaments are. And the problem is this is what we call a rotational injury, meaning you can walk straight, but if you plant and try to rotate, go to your left or your right, that's when you feel a lot of pain. The grade 2 or moderate sprains, usually you'll see a person in crutches or a wheeled scooter for a couple of weeks, because even putting your foot on the ground causes significant pain at the ankle joint.
So that is Dr. Jesse Morse explaining what is the difference between a high ankle sprain and a low ankle sprain. I want to play one more cut for you guys. Here he is talking about the difference in letting it heal naturally, which Mahomes has chosen to do with this injury, which he has had this injury multiple times. You remember, this is the injury that he had against Jacksonville. This is the injury that he was dealing with in the Super Bowl. He is no stranger to a high ankle sprain. Here he is talking about the surgery that Mahomes could potentially have to avoid this issue moving forward.
Now, Mahomes, unfortunately, is no stranger to this injury. He's had this several times before. He had a left one in 2019. He had the right one, which is what he suffered this time. If you remember, late in the playoffs in 23, that it was a grade 2, so worse than he's currently dealing with. He powered through that, and then he suffered that re-injury, if you remember, in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. When he was hobbling like crazy, he reportedly avoided surgery, which is part of the reason probably he ended up suffering at this time, because if you do surgery on this, usually they put a tightrope procedure where they basically cinch it together and they put a screw through it, but it also makes it a lot harder to re-injure. So he had a couple ankle sprains earlier this year, predominantly on the inside of the left ankle, but unfortunately this one was a high ankle to the right that they confirmed last night.
Now, this is going to be a potentially ignorant opinion, and that's fine. I'm just going off the information that I just heard from Dr. Jesse Morse, and I'm no doctor. I have a communications degree, and it took me long enough to go get that. But just from what I heard Dr. Morse say, my advice to Patrick Mahomes this offseason would be to go get surgery. Now, I'm guessing, based on what he just said, surgery is not very fun. And surgery is going to get in the way of some of the things that we know that Patrick likes to do in the offseason. I'm not being critical in any way. It's your free time. If you and your wife want to go to Coachella, go to Coachella. If you and your wife want to go to the U.S. Open and do all these other things, bro, I am not telling you not to do those things. You are a young, wealthy individual. Do those things. I'm guessing that having surgery and wheeling yourself around for a couple of weeks during your free time is not what you want to do. That might be beneficial. We have seen enough Patrick Mahomes to know the kinds of injuries that he is more susceptible to. This is one of them. I'm not saying this is his fault, but he's had this injury at least 5 different times. We can name the instances. One of them, there's an entire Netflix documentary about him dealing with the injury that he just suffered yesterday against the Cleveland Browns. How he describes surgery, it does not sound fun. It sounds like you might be in a walking boot all summer. It sounds like you might be on crutches, or you might be on that thing, I don't know the official name of it. Some of you know what I'm talking about, where you got to put your knee in the little scooter and you're just pushing yourself around. That does not sound very fun. But that might be what you need to do to deal with this thing at a long-term level. There's no question to me that Patrick and his team and the Chiefs are on the same page, and they're trying to do everything they can to avoid him having surgery on this. This might not be something that you can avoid, and it might be time for you to address this and maybe a more long-term solution. And conspiracy theory here, maybe some of the issues that Patrick Mahomes is having in throwing the deep ball are related to his mechanics and his footwork. And you can't have the proper footwork if you are constantly dealing with this ankle injury, right? I think that's part of it. He's talked to us about his fundamentals and his mechanics and why he's a little bit off. Maybe one of the reasons that the deep ball is not where it used to be is you can't use your legs the way that you've always been used to. And it might be just time for a hard reset in the offseason. Have this surgery, sit out for a little bit. You can't go to OTAs now. You can't do all the stuff that you want to do that I know you want to be there. But maybe right after the season is over, in February, you have this. You're out for 3 to 4 months because you're on this walking boot, but you're there. You're doing all the stuff you need to do, and it's not going to be fun. But maybe this is what Patrick Mahomes needs to do to have a long-term solution to these ankle injuries. And I think there is a chance. And again, I'm just simply giving you my take here. Maybe some of his accuracy issues are fundamentals and physical. And why he has really struggled with some of his accuracy is not an arm issue. It's a leg issue. Having your feet set properly, ability to push off of your legs correctly, it seems like you need your ankle for all of those things.
What I heard from Dr. Jesse Morse there is that potentially one of the reasons why he has had recurring ankle injuries is unless you have the surgery, you are more likely to have that injury return. And listen, I know from that Netflix documentary, no one takes care of their body or does the training and the whole deal like Patrick Mahomes does. But so I don't doubt that he has done everything in his power to avoid this injury going forward. But if Dr. Jesse Morse is correct, and he is saying it pretty simply, if you don't have the surgery, you are more likely to have this injury reoccur in your NFL life. And we now know from the Super Bowl, the Eagles, and now this is a week-to-week pain tolerance, and it's, he wouldn't have played in the Bengals postseason game if it was a regular season. We know those things, so let's avoid them full-time. And it seems like to avoid them full-time is the surgery option. And listen, if he doesn't want to have the surgery, I'm not going to force him to. It's his body, whatever. And surgery is always a last resort. No one enjoys going under the knife. But if what Jesse Morse is saying is correct, that the most permanent solution to the problem and not potentially having it arise in the future is this cinching screw surgery, which sounds miserable, then I think he has to have the cinching screw surgery so that in 2025 and 2026 and 2027, as he gets older, we are not talking about high ankle sprains with Patrick Mahomes anymore.
I want to play this audio for you guys. This is Adam Schefter. He was on Pat McAfee's show. Here is the Adam Schefter update of Patrick Mahomes' ankle.
That's what they thought after the game, that it was a high ankle. They were coming back to Kansas City. He was undergoing additional testing today. And let's just assume that it does show your garden variety high ankle sprain, which isn't exactly garden variety anyway. But if it is indeed that, I mean, he's played through that injury before. He's been out there. That guy is exceedingly tough and finds a way to get on the football field. The problem that they have now is they got Saturday, then Christmas Wednesday. The schedule is not working to his favor, but he's got a history of playing with this injury. We'll see if he can make it through it this time again. And I just think he's so tough. He usually finds a way to get through these things, but we'll see what the testing this afternoon shows.
So we are all sort of sitting around and waiting for an update on these things. And I imagine we'll get that at some point before the end of the day. Maybe it's not before the end of the show. But, I mean, this is the number one injury right now in the National Football League to its most prominent player. We are going to find out by the close of the day on what the status is with Patrick Mahomes, what it means. I also think that it's pretty important to note Vegas does not think that Patrick Mahomes is playing. So, Rob, you know this. We get an email from FanDuel. We get it from other places right when Sunday Night Football is over, telling us what the lines are going to be. And we find out a little bit sooner than the public does. Not much more, but a little bit sooner. The email that I got yesterday, Rob, says that the Chiefs were going to be a 3-point favorite before the Mahomes injury. And now with the Mahomes injury, they are now a 2.5-point underdog. So that is a massive swing to having your quarterback and not having your quarterback in regards to a point total and what that means. If you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to play, I would bet the Chiefs right now. Because if we get news in the next 48, 72 hours that Mahomes is going to play, they'll be favorites again. And it goes from you can get them right now at plus 115, plus 120 to they are going to be minus 140. And if you gamble, you know that is a drastic difference in terms of odds. So Vegas is telling you right now they don't think he is going to play. And I'm telling you, even with him not playing, I think there's great value in having the Chiefs as a home dog against a team that I'm not super high on in the Houston Texans. And if you think there's a chance that Mahomes is going to try to push through it and play, I would bet the Kansas City Chiefs right now. We can continue to take your phone calls on this, 913-586-7965, 913-586-7965. We'll also talk about their left tackle situation that is all jumbled up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
There are two kinds of guys out there. The hard-working, earn the victory guys and the fake it till you make it guys. You know, the ones who build display cases for their participation trophies. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and when those pretenders are out shopping for jewelry, they're probably shopping for lab diamonds, and that's sad because they've been sold a bill of goods, and no matter what anyone says, just like any pretender, you really can tell the difference between a lab diamond and a real natural diamond. So when she takes that lab diamond in for an appraisal and learns that you just gave her a participation trophy, well, that just might be the end of her participation. Seriously, We appraise jewelry from other stores all the time, and I've seen a lot of anger and a lot of tears. Guys, this Christmas season, I'm here for you. Earn the victory. If the love is real, she deserves a diamond that's real from a guy that's real. Come see me at House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for 35 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years. And I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
Yeah.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or lewisburgford.com.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on 2 wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Hey guys, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. If you're planning on betting college football bowl games, good luck. No, seriously, it's never been harder. And you don't want to be hurting your bankroll. You want to make sure you're doing your homework. Listen to Cash the Ticket. Mike Valeni and I will be breaking down every single bowl game, dropping new episodes nearly every day throughout college football's postseason. Spicing things up with a 12-team playoff. Can't wait to see some of those teams from the South come up north for the snow. Be sure to subscribe to Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Kansas Lottery Play-On app. Scan your tickets for more chances to win. Kansas Lottery Play-On app. Scan your tickets for more chances to win.
At Metro Ford, family-owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption. Only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
You got a stalled car at northbound 35 at the on-ramp from Lamar. Got to be prepared to stop there as it is slowing things down as you get past it safely. Otherwise, traffic looking good. Eastbound 470, 12 minutes from Raytown Road to 70. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Trey Smith. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. Let me tell you, the Sacramento State, they are in discussions to hire Mike Vick as their new head coach. Sacramento State plans to move up to the FBS next year. They are building a new stadium, and they have over $50 million in name, image, and likeness. Sacramento State would build an experienced coaching staff around Michael Vick, and they think that this is the new frontier for college athletics. Sacramento State, they got $50 million in name, image, and likeness. What's going on? $50 million? What is Sacramento State? Do you know their mascot?
Hornets?
I don't know. I've never heard of them before. Where did all this money come from? What kind of donor do they have? They got $50 million. They should have been in the FBS years ago if that was the case. 50? That's a lot of money. I mean, that puts you up there with Alabama, Texas. $50 million is a lot of money. So it looks like Michael Vick is about to be a head coach. Congratulations to him. That is a whole lot of money. All right, let's talk about the Chiefs' left tackle situation. Before we do that, let me tell you that this segment is brought to you by Golden Oak Lending, where homeowners can get cash in as little as 14 days. If you want to learn about this, visit goldenoaklending.com to learn more. Special shout out to Golden Oak Lending. They are the sponsor of this segment. That sounds good, because Golden Oak Lending, they're trying to give you some protection. Let's talk about the Chiefs' protection. The Chiefs have failed at left tackle. I know their record. I know the success that they've had. They failed. The left tackle they believed was the starter is on the Joshua Uche list right now. We'll never see him again. The guy that they had as the replacement, that we expected there to be a competition at left tackle, yesterday they told us everything they think about that person. They had a chance to change one thing on the offensive line. Put Wanye in at left tackle, keep Joe Thuney at left guard, and keep things rolling along. And they chose to switch up two things. Move Thuney over to the left side, have another player play left guard, and then keep things all together on the other side of the offensive line. They have started 4 different offensive linemen throughout this season. They have a left tackle problem. Now, I don't know when DJ Humphries is coming back. Maybe this was just a 1-week thing and he'll be back. But this team is putting a whole lot of pressure and a whole lot of expectation on DJ Humphries coming back, being healthy, and being able to really help this team because they need him. I said this when they made the move, and it now appears to be, I guess, true. DJ Humphries is the second most important player on this team behind Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's the best player, and you obviously need Chris Jones to be good. You need Trent McDuffie to be good. That is not to knock those guys down in the power ranking, so to speak. They are telling us that they do not have left tackle figured out. They don't have left tackle figured out in the short term, at least right now with the injury happening, and I think they are telling you that they don't have it figured out in the long term as well. Now, I'm not going to throw out the B word for either Kingsley or Wanye Morris, but at least when it comes to Kingsley, they are telling you there is no circumstance in which they are putting him back in the game this season. They are ready to reevaluate that thing in the offseason and see where it goes. And I'm guessing, not to get too far ahead, but whenever we get to mock draft season, there's only one position they're going to continue to have mocked to them. It's an offensive lineman. It is screaming right now. The check engine light, it's not just on at left tackle. It is flashing at left tackle, and it's been flashing at left tackle for the last 100 miles. You need to go deal with this, or something really, really bad is going to happen. Yesterday was the worst pressure percentage that they have given up at any game so far this season. We talked about it off the top of the show. I understand that their offensive line is not where it needs to be. That's why I didn't get why they had Patrick Mahomes drop back 38 times yesterday and keep throwing the ball when he kept getting hit and kept getting pressure and was constantly taking punishment. I don't know why they didn't run the football even more than they did yesterday. Give the ball more to Isaiah Pacheco. Give the ball more to Kareem Hunt to try to take a little bit of pressure off Mahomes, off the passing game, and asking their guys to pass block as much as they did yesterday. There were a lot of mistakes made, I guess, in game and with how they handle the game flow, and the play calling. But all of it just simply stems from the fact right now they are struggling up front. They are struggling up front. And your offense is only going to be as good as those 5 guys up there. And as their offensive line has really started to deteriorate as the season has progressed, you have seen their offense also regress. When their offensive line was working and they could run the football effectively for that month and a half, the offense was really flowing and playing really, really well. The offensive line has taken a step back. Patrick Mahomes is getting hit more. We gave you guys the stat earlier. Mahomes has been hit 67 times this season. He has been hit 35 times in the last 4 games. So he is getting hit way more than he was early on in the season. And Rob, that is contributing to a lot of the problems that the Chiefs are currently having on offense.
I'm seeing a lot of people in the text line say that the eye test showed that Joe Thuney was better. So I looked this stat up. Per NFL's Next Gen stats, Myles Garrett only had 1 pressure in the first half. So in the first half, hey, Joe Thuney, left tackle, it's working, baby. In the second half, Myles Garrett. Now this would be post whatever that injury was. He got poked in the eye, lost a contact. I don't really know what happened with Myles Garrett.
That was weird. Yeah, that was weird.
It seemed like Evan Washburn on the sideline was like, well, they got a visor on his helmet now. And I'm like, great reporting. That doesn't help us at all.
I thought his eye popped out like it was any given Sunday, the way that he responded. But then he came back like 8 plays later.
And spiked his helmet like he had been. It was bad. But in the second half, Myles Garrett had 7 pressures by himself. So I know it felt better. It looked better. Hey, it wasn't the, Olay blocking we have seen from Wanye Morris and from Kingsley Suamataia. But make no mistake, 1 player having 7 pressures in the second half is a sign it was not working. Left tackle is a massive issue. And I know you don't want to use the B word yet, and that's fine. We can wait on the B word. But whatever word you choose to use, the problems on the offensive line stem back to 1 person. It's Brett Veach. Brett Veach has missed at left tackle. They drafted Wanye Morris as a day 2 pick, and the plan was groom him. They then had to bring Donovan Smith in. Donovan Smith played most of last year. He was fine. The plan was, we're not bringing Donovan Smith back. They drafted Kingsley, second day of the draft. No real competition, Kingsley's job. 60 minutes of footballs later, it's Wanye's job. Then, whatever happened from then until December, it's now DJ Humphrey's job. I know you can't pay everyone. That's how the salary cap works. But for a GM and player personnel department that at every turn have gone out of their way to protect Patrick Mahomes, the glaring issues at left tackle are a problem, and those problems all fall on 1 person's desk. We can blame Reed. We can blame Andy Heck, the offensive line coach. We can talk about Mahomes and how he handles pressure. We can talk about all those things. But the fact that it's been 4 different left tackles this season is 1 person's fault, and it has to get corrected this season for a 3-peat, and it has to get corrected in the offseason for hope going forward.
Which I would say that they've made like a couple critical mistakes, right? Like I think they've made a couple, right? I think number 1 mistake that they've made is they have thrown a lot of draft picks, I would say, at the issue of left tackle, but they haven't really developed the solution at left tackle. I will never say that they have not tried at left tackle. They traded a first-round pick to go get a left tackle for Orlando Brown. That was a short-term solution to it. They spent a top 75 pick on Wanye Morris, and this is year 2. This is when you think, all right, developing, he's now ready to start. I mean, we are near the end of his second year. You've had a lot of opportunities. You've had 2 off seasons. You know the playbook here. You have had time to develop into what they wanted you to be at the position. Hasn't worked out. They then go spend a top, 50 pick on Kingsley Suamataia. He can't play. That might sound harsh. He can't play. The Chiefs have told you, at least in 2024, they agree with me. He got less than 8 quarters of opportunities the first time, and they have avoided trying to put him back on the field every single time. They have had plenty of chances to try to put Kingsley back on the field. Hey, maybe we put you out there a little bit too early. We'll give you another chance. Kingsley got another chance. Remember, Wanye got hurt. They gave Kingsley another opportunity to go out there. That was his chance to go win the job. He didn't win the job. We haven't seen him since. Haven't heard him since. He ain't been around since. They tried to do it last year with Donovan Smith as a little bit of a bridge option. So they have certainly spent resources in trying to address it, and there's only really one answer. You got to try to do it again. You can't let that stop you. This offseason, you need to spend another first-round pick in trying to address this problem, or you need to go out in free agency and spend the big bucks. You spent the big bucks on right tackle, and maybe their plan was that Juwan was going to play left tackle for them, and they could put somebody else at right tackle. That plan didn't go right. Brett Veach has done a lot of things right, but I don't think how you can come to really any other conclusion. Their plan at left and right tackle has not worked. It has not worked. They spent left tackle money at right tackle, and at left tackle, that is the one problem they have not been able to solve. They've solved most of their other problems. When they didn't have Isaiah Pacheco, they solved the running back issue. I think they've done a pretty decent job with the cornerback problem, and they're about to get Steven Nelson this Saturday against the Houston Texans. Most of the problems that have popped up throughout the season, they have been able to solve in real time. They have not solved the offensive line issue. In fact, their offensive line is worse now than it was 3-4 weeks ago. That's what the numbers would tell you. They had their worst day, according to analytics, yesterday. Their quarterback got hit 12 times yesterday, and he left with an injury. I got to put that on the offensive line. You guys got to play better, especially when you look at if this team is going to make another deep run in the playoffs, which they obviously are in line to do. Man, you're going to continue to get tested. Which of these teams can't get after the quarterback? All of the teams that you're going up against in the AFC playoffs, Rob, which of those teams can't get after Patrick Mahomes with their 4-down linemen? Buffalo did it. We saw them do it a month or so ago. You know that Pittsburgh can do it with their D-line. Which one of these teams that the Chiefs are going to play in the second round or the AFC Championship game can't really get after their tackles and get after their quarterback? So this is going to be something that you're going to have to be very mindful of, and you might have to switch some things up and try to have a little bit more protection, maybe keep a running back there, maybe try to do some different things to try to protect your quarterback and keep him upright, especially hearing from the doctor, Jesse Morris, who was on the show. This is, and I think Chiefs fans know this, I'm not telling you something you don't know, this ankle injury, it ain't going away. This is something that Mahomes is going to manage and play through from now until they go to New Orleans, hopefully. So this ankle injury and how they do it and whether he plays on Saturday, whether he plays on Wednesday, maybe they give him an extended rest and he doesn't play again into the Broncos. It is not like Patrick Mahomes is coming back and he is going to be 100% and we're never going to have to deal with this again or see none of the effects of the injury. This is something that they're going to have to manage and be mindful of every single week out there.
I wonder how much of the problems they have at left tackle, because we've talked about this before on the show. You know, when you miss in the draft, you have to chase in free agency. I wonder if the Chiefs' left tackle problems are the inverse. We know they gave an offer to Orlando Brown Jr. Now, did they then play the media game and, kind of ham it up with Adam Schefter and say, we're about to make him the highest pay? They definitely did that. But they made an offer to Orlando Brown. They traded premium assets to get Orlando Brown. I wonder if the plan was Orlando Brown, and then when that failed, they kind of had to chase the ghosts of that position, because when you're picking at 32 and 64, you're not usually finding, franchise left tackles. You're not finding the pillars of your organization. You're not finding Jonathan Ogden at pick 62. You're just not. So I wonder if the fact that they didn't get Orlando Brown Jr. locked up, whether because he overpriced himself or whatever happened there, I think they are chasing that demon because they used 2 day 2 picks on that position, and those guys have not been near good enough. They've also added 2 veteran guys to that room on cheap deals. Donovan Smith was good enough last year. The jury is very much out on DJ Humphries. We haven't seen him play more than 3/4 of Chiefs football, but I wonder if we talk about, hey, they're chasing the mistakes in the draft and free agency. I wonder if the Chiefs are actually going through the opposite exercise and chasing a failed experiment in free agency via the draft. And if you could go back, maybe they wouldn't have gotten a Kingsley or a Wanye if they were able to get Orlando Brown Jr. locked up full time.
Text line 913-586-7965. We're going to be joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, coming up in about 30 minutes. We'll also talk about Trent McDuffie, who had a very special day yesterday. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. Let me ask you this, Rob. Text line, you guys can answer this as well. Do you trust Carson Wentz? Because I do trust Carson Wentz. I think we know enough about Patrick Mahomes that you always need to have a second plan. He's had some injuries in the past. He's had an ankle injury or knee or it's the National Football League. There's going to be 50 quarterbacks that make at least one start this year. Everybody is not having their starting quarterback from August make it all the way until the end of the season without some bumps and bruises along the way. It's a long, physically demanding, grueling season. So you need to have a Carson Wentz, a Sam Darnold, Bryce. You need to have one of those quarterbacks as a secondary option in case your primary option gets injured. I feel confident with Carson Wentz going into this game if he has to start, especially with the coach that you have and what I think Carson Wentz's skill set is as a player. I think he's proven that he is a pretty accurate quarterback in his career. He's completing around 63% of his passes. I also don't really think that he's a guy that's going to make a whole lot of mistakes. He only has 2 seasons in which he's thrown double-digit interceptions. We're talking about a guy who, if he starts on Sunday, is going to be making his 94th start as an NFL quarterback. He's now in his mid-30s. I think that Carson Wentz can be fine for a limited sample. You're not talking about Carson Wentz starting a playoff game. We're talking about Carson Wentz. Can he start on short notice, a short week, at home against the Houston Texans? I trust Carson Wentz to play in this game. I told you guys earlier today, there is not a scenario in which I would play Patrick Mahomes on Saturday. No. I don't think that the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't think that the risk is worth the reward. And I also think that you trust your quarterback in Carson Wentz to step in and be a capable starter. This is why I understand that people fall in love with the Shane Buechels and some of the developmental quarterbacks. Those guys cannot be your number 2 option at quarterback. You need somebody like Carson Wentz, where if Carson has to start these next 2 games, you feel like you can split those 2 games. You feel like you can win either on Saturday against Houston or you can go on the road and steal one against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if you're going undefeated the rest of the way if you had to play all 3 of those games from start to finish with Carson Wentz. But I think you can split this week and a half that you have coming up with Carson. And I think that's really all you need to do or was a realistic expectation of him. I trust him in this scenario. That's what I would do. If I'm the Chiefs, I make this announcement early in the week, and I'm not even entertaining the possibility. I'm pretty sure Andy will talk tomorrow because they were on the short week because the week kind of moves around a little bit. Maybe I'm off on that. I come out, first thing I say, Patrick is not playing this week. We're going to give Patrick Mahomes a little bit of extra time to rest. We feel confident. This is not season-threatening in any way. We have made the decision as an organization that we're going to give Patrick an extended break and allow him to get ready for the postseason, and we'll see where we are at the end of the week, and we'll reevaluate this for the Pittsburgh Steelers game. And I would pump all of my resources into starting Carson Wentz and getting him ready, not just for this game, but if something happens in the postseason, he has gotten some live bullets, he has gotten some live action, and I'm not talking about a Week 18 preseason game in which the Chiefs are going at 60, 70%. The Chiefs are going to be trying to win this game on Saturday with their starters. I think there are a lot of positives in playing Carson Wentz against Houston.
I actually think it's, for all the injury reasons, the smartest decision. But I also think just from a, getting the most out of Carson Wentz standpoint, you need to announce him, maybe not to us. If they don't want to announce it to us, whatever. You know how the NFL's coy and likes to play games. Will we or won't we? That's the NFL cat and mouse game. But inside the facility, over at One Arrowhead Drive, I hope they announce it's Carson Wentz, because what you don't want is to be splitting reps at quarterback. What does every football person ever tell you? Reps are currency. The more reps you can get, the better you'll get in the NFL. Reps, reps, reps. Everyone talks about reps. If Carson Wentz and Patrick Mahomes are splitting reps this week, that is the worst possible scenario, because that means Wentz isn't 100% at full, up to snuff with the knowledge of the offense. And that means Patrick Mahomes is battling an injury, and you're probably going to have to pare it down. Whether it be in-house or to us, I hope they say, we're going with Wentz. He's going to practice in full this week. He's going to be a starter in the meetings. He's going to be the starter on the practice field. And we're going to build a playbook and build a game plan around what Carson Wentz can do. Because when you have two quarterbacks, which is right now what the Chiefs have because Mahomes is week to week, you actually have no quarterbacks. Somewhere in Chiefs, facility, it needs to be known that's our guy this week.
Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, Carson Wentz is just white Jameis Winston. No, he's not. I don't know how else to put it. No, he's not. Not even close. I don't know how else to put it. I really don't know how. He doesn't throw interceptions like that. Carson Wentz has made 93 starts in his NFL career. He has thrown 67 interceptions. Jameis Winston, on average, has thrown one interception in every game that he's been in. They are not close between the two. I'm not here telling you that Carson Wentz is great. I'm not telling you that if Carson Wentz plays well these next two games that he should take over and be the Raiders starting quarterback next year because they're looking for a QB. No, I'm telling you that Carson is finally where he needs to be. He is in a good situation with a good team and a good coach that is not going to ask you to do a whole lot coming up on Saturday. Carson Wentz shouldn't throw it 40 times against the Houston Texans. We're going to run the football. We're going to try to control the line of scrimmage. We're going to play good defense. We think we can beat Houston 24-17. I think you can do that with Carson Wentz on a short week. I'm pumping all my resources into Carson. I'm trying to have him go out there, complete 65% of his passes, throw for 205 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. Let's go home. That's how I would play this week if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up on the other side, let's celebrate Trent McDuffie, who for the first time in his NFL career, he got an interception yesterday. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Pizza Taccio, the king of Kansas City's New York-style pizza scene, has taken KC by storm. Pizza Taccio uses the highest quality local and organic ingredients, hand-tossed by KC natives. Oh, and did I mention they were voted KC's favorite pizza? Place your order now for pickup or delivery at pizzataccio.com. Or stop in for a slice at any of their locations in OP, Midtown, North KC, St. Joe, Waldo, or Belton, and dive into the taste that's conquering Kansas City. One slice at a time.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Nah, Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Hey, it's Alex Gold from Max Motors in Belton with their huge year-end heavy-duty sale. Every new 2024 Ram 2500 in stock is 20% off MSRP. New 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, up to $13,000 off MSRP. Stock number S240367. Must finance with dealer lender. Offer expires 1/2/25. And if you're looking for the max trade-in values in the Midwest, it's Max Motors, just a short drive to Belton. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car, maxmotors.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help? Yeah, there are so many football games streaming this season. Can Xfinity Internet handle it?
Oh, we know the game is only live once, so we built a network with all-pro speeds and low lag so you don't miss a snap.
So I can yell, "He's open!" when he's actually open?
Yeah, but the quarterback still can't hear you.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and TV and enjoy instant access to your favorite live sports with the Xfinity Stream app. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Streaming content limited to the U.S. Programming subject to change.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
Buying and selling a home is stressful. You want the best team on your side, and that's my friend Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. To find the current value of your home, go to homesforsaleandkc.com. Click on the button, How much is your home really worth? Then the Sharp Homes team can give you options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses, you can do that with their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp. Google Sharp Homes team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. That's right, now's your last chance to trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday Night Report absolutely free on recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. Chicago at Minnesota. With promising young players at quarterback and wide receiver, Chicago has the potential to make explosive plays in the air. Minnesota possesses a high-powered offense that can exploit mismatches and score quickly. Tonight is going to be a monster game. I've got the side and total. That's 2 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. Call now, 1-800-244-5506. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. Chicago, Minnesota, side and total. I love to go 2-0. Get the rest of the season free. 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Got several cars stopping traffic. Westbound 70 just past Paseo. That's got the left lane closed. And another one that's northbound 35 sitting at the on-ramp from Lamar, also slowing things down. And another one that's northbound 69 highway right at 87th Street exit. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
I want to read to you guys a tweet from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Love you, Kansas City, a family I didn't know I needed. Y'all made a kid from Baton Rouge dreams come true. To Chiefs Kingdom, it is all love, and the support I had in troubling times will forever be unmatched from you guys. With love, 2 hearts emoji. It also says Clyde with the peace emoji. I am guessing that we are going to get a follow-up tweet from Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter or somebody saying that the Chiefs have made the decision to release Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm just spitballing here. I'm trying to make sure that I have my information straight on how the roster is set up. Is this to make room for Hollywood Brown, you think? I'm just trying to think of what it could potentially be. Why you would release Clyde at this point in the season when we know they all have a big roster move that is right on the horizon with Hollywood Brown. But he's also been practicing. That's why I might be a little bit off in my timing on why now they would announce that they are releasing Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But, I mean, you can't really hear that message and think anything else. They have cut Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
By the way, it's Schefter now has it. The Chiefs released former first-round pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So that's now officially done based on his message, too. But, yeah, they would have to cut him to Mooka roster spot. Like, they cut Matthew Wright over the weekend for Harrison Butker.
Yeah.
And Butker was practicing on Friday, too. So even though Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been inactive every week, yes, they need his roster spot to make room for Hollywood Brown. So that would be the logical jump.
In theory, couldn't they just bring him back on the practice squad? Like, I'm imagining that he is going to clear waivers. Couldn't they just simply bring him back on the practice squad in 2 or 3 days if they really, really wanted to? I mean, it seems like the Chiefs obviously think very highly of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and they have stood by him with all the offseason things and off-the-field things that he has been dealing with. Maybe this is a release for roster purposes, and you can announce that you brought him back in a couple more days. He's on the practice squad. He can finish out the year in Kansas City. He seems to be well-liked by the locker room, seems to be well-liked by the organization. I don't think we ever see Clyde Edwards-Helaire get another carry for the Chiefs, but I could see them keeping him around through the end of the season and just keeping him with the foundation and support that he's built up to just finish out the rest of the year.
You mentioned not knowing the rule of the opening up. How the practice squad works nowadays in the NFL is just like
different. Very, very different than how it was.
You have a better chance of teaching me Mandarin than some of those, because like time accrued, people are or aren't eligible. Like Melvin Gordon was eligible for the Chiefs, but I honestly don't know if or if not Clyde Edwards-Helaire is even eligible for the practice squad. And if he is, what you're saying makes sense. But if he's not, then obviously he will not be a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. But this message doesn't sound like they told him, hey, we're going to cut you, but just be on alert. You're coming back in a few days. This, based on his messaging, sounds like I'm getting outright cut. You don't put that out if you're going to be on the practice squad in 2 days, right?
What do you think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire's memory is going to be in Kansas City?
Ooh.
How are people going to remember Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Bust. I think they're going to remember bust. I think the story of the off the field and the support the Chiefs showed him and the mental struggles he went through will be a story early in the process. But I think if we and you were saying, hey, what do people think about Clyde Edwards-Helaire on December 16th of 2025, so a year removed from right now, I don't think the text line would fill up with guy who struggled with some mental PTSD issues, and we support him, happy he was a member of our community. I think people would look at the football portion and they will say he was a bust.
I do think that has softened it a little bit. I also think the fact that it did work out for the Chiefs in running back, maybe it didn't work out the way that you thought it was, but the fact that Isaiah Pacheco has been so good, has been so likable for them, I do think that it has changed things a little bit. Textline making a really good point. I did forget about it. This is probably for Steven Nelson and not Hollywood Brown. That's probably who it's for. Because Steven Nelson is going to play this week against the Houston Texans, and you had to create some spot for him. So you release Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then you upgrade. I guess upgrade would be the correct term. You bring up Steven Nelson, and that's probably the roster spot for him.
That's a good point by the text line. I
just forgot about it. So great job, text
You're
line.
right. Yeah, because Steven Nelson is on the practice squad right now. Yeah, that would make sense. You have to release him to make space. Yeah, that's great point by the text line. But yeah, I do think the PTSD has softened fans' feeling on him. I don't think that's a great way to describe it, but I understand what you're saying. But I do think from a purely football perspective, the way people will remember his tenure in Kansas City is he was a first-round pick bust. And it just didn't work out. It's a little softened by Pacheco, but still, bust is going to be the word people use.
Text line 913-586-7965. I stand on this and forever will. The Chiefs didn't use him right. They never got him in motion of how he was used at all at LSU. I hear that. They've made it work with so many other running backs, and they didn't make it work with him. I find it hard to believe that it was a Chiefs issue and not a Clyde Edwards-Helaire issue. Clyde just didn't really have any pop. Like, Isaiah Pacheco has pop, makes explosive plays, can change the course of a game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire peaked really after his first game. He made that one play against the Houston Texans, and I think we all kind of thought, oh boy. Look at what the Chiefs have now at running back. It felt like in some ways they had gotten another chance with Kareem Hunt. Remember, Kareem Hunt was off the team. They then spent this first-round pick. You're going to give the Chiefs the perfect Brian Westbrook, Deuce Staley, catch the ball out of the backfield kind of guy. He just never really turned into that. And I've seen them use so many other running backs correctly that, again, it's hard for me to think that it is a Chiefs issue and not a him issue. We don't feel that way about Jerick McKinnon. They used Samaje Perine correctly. They've used the second version of Kareem Hunt correctly. Isaiah Pacheco, the one running back they've struggled with in the last 5 years, has been the one that they spent the most resource on, has been Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So we'll see if Clyde is able to catch on with another team. We'll see if this is his last stop in the National Football League. Guy who was picked in the first round, made some decent money. Hopefully he saved things well, and he looks like he's taking care of himself, at least off the field. So I'll be interested to see what Clyde's next move is as a person and as a football player. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to be joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Yesterday was a special day. You knew if Trent McDuffie was going to get his first interception, it had to happen in a game like yesterday when the turnovers were plentiful. And, well, what do you know? Trent McDuffie got his first pick yesterday. Congratulations.
Cleveland 1st and 10 at the Chiefs' 29-yard line. Kansas City showing zone. Again, no Chamari Connor out in the concussion protocol. Winston will throw, pressured from the right. Winston holding the ball, looking downfield, firing for the end zone. The pass is going to be intercepted. No, it's incomplete. Intercepted on the far side. Trent McDuffie gets his first National Football League interception. The All-Pro first-team corner waits 3 years to get one.
I just want to put into perspective how long ago Trent McDuffie's last interception was. Trent McDuffie's last interception before yesterday happened in November of 2020. This is months before the vaccine, and it was the same day that Sarah Fuller kicked in the Missouri-Vanderbilt game. You guys remember that story? Remember that, Rob? Sarah Fuller was the kicker, was the soccer player, and then she did the kickoff, and she became this like lightning rod for controversy of how football had gone woke. Remember this? It was the exact same day as Trent McDuffie's last interception. He got an interception in college against Utah. It was November 26th of 2020. All that, think of all the things that have passed since November 26th of 2020. Trent McDuffie, congratulations. Rob, this show told Trent McDuffie that his first interception was coming, did we not? I got the audio. He should be thanking me. I should have got the game ball. I'm willing to go on that limb right now and say that this show should have gotten the game ball because I'm guessing Trent McDuffie's last interview that he did was on this show, and I told him that his interception was coming. And he was like, man, I appreciate that. And look at me, a visionary. Coming up at the top of the hour, Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Got several cars stopping traffic. Westbound 70 just past Paseo. That's got the left lane closed. And another one that's northbound 35 sitting at the on-ramp from Lamar, also slowing things down. And another one that's northbound 69 highway right at 87th Street exit. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
At Metro Ford, family owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption. Only at Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com.
Hey, it's Carrington from The Drive here, and I just found out that Daisy Sour Cream launched French onion and ranch sour cream dips. I love some dip. And these new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are an absolute game changer. They taste just as good as if they were homemade. They're made with Daisy Sour Cream, real herbs and spices. The new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are made with ingredients you can find in your kitchen, nothing more. Give these new French onion and ranch dips from Daisy a try. They go perfect with all your favorite chips, wings, veggies. Celebrate the holidays with Daisy Dips.
I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring except the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to a charity of your choice to help those in need this holiday. These charities include the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Meals on Wheels, and the National Park Foundation. And locally, you can choose the Hillcrest Transitional Housing. Have some fun this holiday and fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, serving all of KC.
From maintenance to emergency repairs, Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling will keep you warm when it matters most. Contact us today and stay cozy all season long. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. As voice of Chiefs Kingdom, he's seen the lowest of lows and the highest of highs.
You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're gonna have to deal with the Chiefs.
Your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's Mitch Holthus with CDOT on The Drive.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by our next guest. He is the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. His appearance on the show is presented by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center. Also by GEHA. They are a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch Holthus joins us on the show today. Mitch, happy to have you on today. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. It's Tuesday. It's not Monday with the Saturday game. And now we're in the throes of this challenge of the schedule and a gauntlet of pass rushers, the elite pass rushers in this league the Chiefs are seeing in successive games.
So I want to get to the injury with Patrick Mahomes, kind of what you would do moving forward. But before we do any of that, Mitch, think about everything that you've seen in your career. You saw Montana Magic. You've seen Patrick Mahomes duel Tom Brady. You've seen the Chiefs win Super Bowls, miraculous comebacks. You've seen the longest punt return in the history of the Super Bowl. You also saw Trent McDuffie get an interception. I know that has to be high on your list.
Well, I was monitoring you. I was gonna. When did you interview him? Because we had him on Defending the Kingdom. We spoke it into existence. Everybody's taking credit now that they're the ones that spoke it into existence. But I might challenge you on that one because, well, and if you keep saying it every game for 3 years, you're going to be right. If I tell you the world's going to end every day and it doesn't happen, but it finally does, then I'm right. But the fact that he got the interception, and as Andy Reid told me you're going to hear the interview tonight, he said that was a really good one to get your first one because that was a hard interception, and now we know he was watching the stadium vision to see where the ball was coming. That's pretty crazy. But he's such an elite player and so good. It's just nuts to think that we've gone almost 3 seasons for his first interception.
I don't think people understand the just amount of like unreal athleticism you have to be watching the Jumbotron and then able to react in real time to get an interception. Like, I feel like that's a tidbit of the story that people just like, oh, that's cool. He used this to get an interception in an NFL game. It is just one of the crazier stories I can remember.
You know, it'll make teams think about if they have to show that or not in the stadium, because they're going to think if this is our disadvantage to do it, you'll see them put up, some glitch, and now you've got some music video up there to throw them off. But it is pretty crazy that he was able to, because it was a longer play. If you hear the play call, it takes several seconds. And Jameis Winston has a chance to move, and then he launches it. So McDuffie, in all that time, is thinking, oh, here it comes, and then he reacts to the ball. He's just such an unique person. He's a lot like a lot of these guys on this team, so mature, so emotionally mature, as well as being physically gifted. It's why he's 7-0 in the playoffs and has 2 Super Bowl rings in his first 2 years.
Right now, we're talking to the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. All right, Mitch, I have to tell you at least some of the takes that I have in relation to the game that we just saw on Sunday between the Chiefs and the Browns. I don't think that the Chiefs put Mahomes in a great situation in the second half of the game. So the numbers, the Chiefs took a 21-0 lead. They then ran 22 plays. They ran 16 pass plays, and they only ran the ball 6 times. And Mahomes got hit 12 times throughout the game. There was a stretch there where on back-to-back possessions, they threw it all 6 times, and it took less than a minute off the clock for those 2 possessions. I really wanted the Chiefs to kind of coast in the second half of the game and kind of keep Mahomes out of harm's way. Run the football, use Pacheco more, use Kareem Hunt more, and not really put Mahomes within risk of getting hit because he was getting hit a lot yesterday in the game. I thought the play calling could have done Mahomes a much better service late in that game in trying to keep him healthy and fresh.
Well, and especially since the way the flow of the game was going, the missed short field goal of 29 yards, or the Chiefs were going to have their first, I was ready to belt it out, the first 3-possession lead of the year. Whoops, didn't happen. And then we brought up the Charger game where you had a 13-0 lead at half, and then the Chargers go right down and score. Well, whoops, Nick Bolton gets the incredible interception, so you get a takeaway, and now you're up 21-0. So it's a different scenario. But those 2 drives, only using up 47 seconds. Now, they tried one of those pass plays that would be essentially a run, a pseudo run, and a quick out to Xavier Worthy, and the pass was a little wide, and could Worthy have caught it? I don't know. But whether here nor there, if you're going to throw it or run it, Coach would say, the execution has got to be there, because the truth of the matter is, whether you like the play calls or not, only 47 seconds went off the clock. And you said less than a minute. That's one was 21 seconds. The other one was 26 seconds. And now you give Cleveland at least what little life they have left, because they're like, ooh, they could have blown us away. And to your point, if you run the ball there, even if you run 3 straight times, you're going to run about a minute and a half off in each series. So that would be 3 minutes off the clock. Not a lot, but more than was there. But it boils down to whether you're going to throw it or run it. The early part of the third quarter to mid part of the third quarter offensively has been a little bit of the difficult time of the game. It's kind of been that way all year. So it will be interesting to see how they respond this week, and if that's that same instance, if they do run the ball some.
And maybe this is just an overreaction to the injury, but it felt like in the middle part of the season, especially early when Kareem Hunt first got here, the Chiefs just had such a commitment to running the ball. I mean, there was a game in which Kareem Hunt got 27 carries, and it seems like over the last 3 weeks, they've kind of gotten away from it, and I think their offense has suffered from it. They scored less than 21 points in the 2 games prior to this, and their offense was not great yesterday, even when they tried to run the ball. Mahomes had his worst day completion percentage yesterday. They didn't really run the football effectively, and to me, just didn't really show a commitment to it. I want to see this team just get back to controlling the line of scrimmage up front and just beating teams the way that they were in that middle part of the schedule.
Yeah, but you're seeing things the last 3 weeks in reaction to that effective running during the time that you're alluding to. And I agree with you with that. But what teams are doing is they're saying, well, we're not going to let you do that anymore. And teams are actually run blitzing the Chiefs more than they have in recent memory. There was one time yesterday they ran a double A-gap blitz on a run. It's almost like they're guessing, or kind of, is there a tell? I don't know. Is there a tendency? Usually with coach's offense, he's awesome about that. They self-scout better than any team I've ever been around. But teams are winning on these runs, and they're winning not by doing it with a 6-man or 7-man front. They're putting an 8th guy in the box, or they're run blitzing. And more often than not, they're seemingly running in right into the teeth of the play. Now, one good reaction yesterday was a screen. They got the screen on the one play they didn't get the score on, but that was a little bit of a countermeasure. Went to the opposite side of the blitz, which is always a little bit of a gamble positively. But, one way to handle these run blitzes are to fake a run and then set up a screen, and they did that yesterday. So it's going to be evolving. It's always move, counter move in the NFL. They're not going to sit there and let you do what you've been doing at a comfortable level. At least the best teams won't. So now you've got a counter move to the counter move. And if you do run the ball, look at different ways to run it. Yesterday, the so-called run that really is a swing screen for the touchdown on the 21-yarder was that's a way of basically pseudo running the ball, or jet sweeps. We saw that yesterday too. Or the shallow route where he runs that shallow slice or an angle, it could be Xavier Worthy, it could be all of them, but Worthy in particular, where you get run effect by still throwing the ball, but the ball's coming out fast generally, and it's going into a short yardage area.
Right now, we're talking to the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Mitch, I know we're looking ahead a little bit, but that's just kind of the nature in sports talk. I wouldn't play Patrick in the game against Saturday. I'm just thinking about what are the pros of him playing, what are the cons. And I think an important thing to note is, how they always say there's a difference between being hurt and injured. Patrick is not injured, in my opinion. Like, he could play if necessary. If this was a playoff game, there's no question in my mind that he could go out there and be effective. But given where they are in the season, given this stretch where they played 2 games in a very condensed period of time, I just don't see a whole lot of positives for playing Patrick. And I also trust Carson Wentz to start in this game. We're talking about a guy who has made 93 starts in his career, a guy who one year I thought at least was in a conversation to win NFL MVP. I am more than trustworthy of his ability to start in this game and Andy and the staff's ability to get Carson ready. So at least for me, for 1 week, I would just put Patrick Mahomes on ice, and then I would just reevaluate it for the game against Pittsburgh.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 responses, and this is based on 12 years of being around Coach Reed and Rick Burkhalter and his athletic training staff and the doctors of this team. 1, and Patrick Mahomes' personality. If Patrick Mahomes is cleared to play, he will play. Now, I know that seems obvious, but some would say even if he's cleared to play, go ahead and set him. No, if he's cleared to play, Pat will play. These games are way too important to try to get the bye. Get the bye. Capture the bye. Because if you get a bye, we mentioned this, I think I said it a month ago. I did a minute with Mitch on it like 8 weeks ago. If you get the bye, you're going to play 1 game in 24 days. You're basically going to have an all-new training camp for this team with a bunch of guys that weren't even in training camp. If, 2, you're also dealing with just this might be the best pass rushing team in the league because Danielle Hunter is an animal this year. And then Will Anderson Jr. They've got the Batman-Robin deal going here. Their pressures have been near the top of the league. You factor that in. But if Pats can go, he'll go. Third thing, I actually have four. The third thing would be I've never seen this coaching staff, this coach, or this athletic training staff ever force a guy back from an injury. They've not done it. I've told you this before. They have gone out of their way to show discretion. They will not hurry a guy back to risk further injury. So if Pat can't go, he won't go, or force him in there to go, man, we got to have this game. They won't do it. They just won't. And then the last thing would be when Carson Wentz signed with the Chiefs, we all were thinking this is the best backup the Chiefs have ever had. And we've had good ones. I mean, think about Matt Moore beating the Vikings. You think about Chad Henne, legendary in the divisional playoff games, even go back to Chase Daniel, who was an excellent backup. But you've got Carson Wentz, to your point, who has been involved in, he's had, almost 40 starts in the last 4 years. The fact that he's got 153 touchdown passes. And you're right. In 2017, he was steamrolling toward an MVP award, and then he tore his ACL late that year. They go on and win it with Nick Foles as a quarterback for Doug Peterson. But Carson Wentz put the Eagles in that position. So if Pat can't play, Carson's going to play. I have no reservation that Carson Wentz could win the game Saturday against the talented Houston team.
Mitch, I guess to kind of go back on your four things, the number two you mentioned was the pass rush. Couldn't you argue that that is a good reason to not kind of chance it with Patrick Mahomes, that he's taken a lot of hits of late? So we had this stat. He has been hit 67 times this year. He has been hit 35 times in the last month of games. So Mahomes is just taking more punishment than he's used to. Couldn't you say that given how good and strong we think Houston's pass rush is, maybe it is not safe to put him in that environment and we risk potentially losing him for even more important games than Saturday against Houston?
It's a worthy question. But then what do you do? Getting them ready for the Steelers? Because I don't know if TJ Watt will play in that game, but they got that other cat. And then the team that leads the league in sacks are the Broncos. That's what I'm telling you. This is a gauntlet. So there's no, are you going to rest him and get him ready for that game? Even if you rest him in this game, you're going to have about a week and a half, and even not that, because we're traveling on that Tuesday on Christmas Eve. I'm just going to state what I've seen. If he's cleared to play, he'll play. And it's against Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. and a Houston team that's super talented. If he's cleared to play, he'll play. That's just the way it's been for 12 years.
Mitch, what do you guys have for Chiefs Kingdom tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna dive in with Coach a bit. We're gonna kind of cover a bunch of stuff. We didn't get into the 6 takeaways. We will in the show. That's a big deal. And we talk about Trent McDuffie. Matt McMullen and I had him on the Defending the Kingdom podcast, and I featured him on some other shows. I thought Trent was onto something. I might have alluded to you last week. Of just play, man. Cut it loose. This defense is so self-aware. They are so, again, mature for a young age that they know everything. But it's also time to turn it loose, which they did yesterday. They got turnovers in all different kinds of ways. Special teams. Bolton made an incredible play on the interception to the running back. We mentioned the McDuffie play. Cooks plays big time. Jaden Hicks is big time. Almost ran it back. We dive into those turnovers a little more in the coach segment with Coach tonight and give it a little more time. And we'll get a quick update on Pat. And then we're going to have Desmond Moses on. Now, Desmond Moses was primarily a special teams player for the Chiefs, but he was on the original Chiefs team of Andy Reid in 2013. We'll dive into all that, what he thinks of this crazy 3 games in 11 days, what that means. He'll have a player's perspective on it, and so it'll be good. It's a quick week, but we'll have a good Kingdom show tonight at 6.
That is Mitch Holthus joining us on the show today. His appearance on the show is presented by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center by GEHA. They are also a proud partner of the Chiefs. Mitch, we got a very busy next 10 days around here, man. We look forward to catching up with you next week.
You got it. And by the way, our show tonight, if you're in Lee Summit, that's where we're at. They call it Lee Summit 2 or Lee Summit West. It's the Ward Road location of Hy-Vee and Lee Summit. So come join us. It's usually robust. Some awesome fans out there it's kind of your stomping grounds, I think.
That is Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, joining us on the show. Thanks, Mitch.
See you, C-Dot.
Absolutely. That is Mitch Holthus joining us on the show today. Very interesting what he had to say there at the end. Let's open up the phone lines and take a little bit of calls on this. We've got some time. We're going to have another doctor call into the show. I want to try to get as many medical people their opinion on this today on the show. I understand what Mitch is saying, and I'm not even saying what Mitch is saying is wrong or incorrect. If the training staff says that Mahomes is healthy, they will probably let him play. Then my response to that would then be, then we're not clearing him. Then we're not clearing him to play this week. I challenge anybody. 913-586-7965. You got to tell me what are the pros of Patrick playing on Saturday, and then I'm happy to give you the cons of Patrick playing on Saturday. Because the pro is you could potentially lock up the 1 seed. Depending on how this thing goes, the race is not won yet. It is not won yet. 100% agree. It is not won. And getting that bye is really important for the Chiefs, and having that rest and having that time off is undeniably valuable. You will not hear any pushback on me. What are the other positives of Patrick Mahomes playing in this game? You just heard it from Mitch. Mitch is talking to me about the pass rush and Will Anderson and this guy and Daniil Hunter and all of these guys that are going to get after the quarterback. I don't really want to put Patrick in a situation where on a short week we're putting you out there against one of the better pass rushes in the league, and we know that you're not 100%. Like, being cleared to play and being 100% are two very, very different things. And then on a short week, we're going to ask you to turn around and then play the Pittsburgh Steelers, who also can get after the quarterback and also pose a very serious problem with the pass rush. Like, I'm being real strategic in how I handle this the next 17 days of the season. They have 3 games left. And I just think they can win with Carson Wentz. I think they can win. And that's what drastically changes my opinion on this. I think they can win with Carson Wentz. And maybe it is not what they usually would do, but the same way that in the playoff game, Pat clearly wanted to go back in the game and was arguing and going back and forth, and Andy just kind of calmed him down and said, you're not going back into the game until you go get an x-ray. When you go get an x-ray and they tell me you're fine, sure, we can talk about it. But until then, calm down. We're on the same page here. We're on the same team. You know I love you. You know I care about you. Go get that done and then come back. I think you got to have that exact same message with Patrick Mahomes. No. And I understand how to tell your most valuable employee and you know his fire and competitiveness. I imagine it is difficult to tell Pat no. He doesn't seem like somebody that always handles that the best, and that's perfectly fine. I just don't see a whole lot of positives about playing Patrick Mahomes on a short week against a team that you think can get after the quarterback. So I'm just not clearing him. No, we're not clearing you this week. And you're going to be mad, you're going to be upset, you're going to pout, you're going to scream, maybe you'll storm out of here. But we have to think not just for December 21st, we need to be thinking for January 21st, and that we want to have a parade on February 21st. That would be my message to Pat. We've shown last year that we can go on the road and we can beat any of these teams. We are not afraid to go on the road. What I am afraid of you either re-injuring yourself and aggravating it, or you just continuing to take a lot of punishment and you are not yourself. He has been hit 67 times this season, and he has been hit 35 times in the last month. The last month of games, that's, Rob, I can do math here. That's 8-9 times a game Mahomes is taking hits, shots. I don't feel comfortable continuing to put my quarterback in that situation, not with where our offensive line is right now. Is DJ Humphries playing in this game? Are they going to have their normal offensive line? Like, there's other questions I'd be asking myself here too. Maybe we are going to clear Patrick Mahomes to play. Are we still going to have this makeshift offensive line until we can figure it out? Because if we can't have the offensive line that we're going to have for the postseason, I'm not that interested in it. If it's not going to be Humphrey, Tooney, Creed, Trey Smith, and Jawan Taylor, the offensive line we think we can win the Super Bowl with, We can wait a week and see if we get DJ Humphries back, and then we can reevaluate this thing. To me, this comes down to, do you think you can win this game with your backup quarterback? And I do, wholeheartedly. There's not a question in my mind that the Chiefs can win on Saturday with Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback. Now, can they go 3-0 with Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback? No, probably not. Can they win this game at home with Carson Wentz? I absolutely believe they can do that. Have you been watching the Texans lately? They just struggled with Miami, and they lost to Tennessee in the last month. You can beat that team. You don't need your A squad to go out there and beat them. Run the football, don't turn it over, play good defense. That is a formula that you can win a grinded-out game 24-17 at home against the Houston Texans. 21-8. You can win that game. So that's where I am. 913-586-7965. Let's open up the phone lines and let's take you guys' calls. We're going to have a doctor call into the show in about 20 minutes or so. So I want to get more of a medical opinion on this thing. I can only give you based on what we know and how I feel on this thing. And I'm making that decision early in the week. We're not testing it. Patrick, you're not practicing this week. All the football time that we have available, you need to be spent in rehab and trying to get as close to 100% as possible. You need to be in the chamber. You need to have the massage gun. You need to have the therapist. You need to have the masseuse. You need to have anything that you think you need to get your ankle feeling comfortable. Let's do that for the next 10 days and then see with where we are. The Chiefs play their first playoff game about a month from now. The second round of the playoffs start January 18th and 19th. So you got 30-something days to get healthy, get right, and get ready for the game ultimately that matters. It's not ideal if you lose to Houston. You can manage losing to the Houston Texans. You can make it. You'll be fine. Your number one concern right now is how do we have 15 in the best possible position to get to that game, the game after that, and the game after that, because that is all this season is about, is winning those 3 games from January 18th on. We'll take your phone calls on the other side, 913-586-7965. We also have a doctor calling into the show at 4:45. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Well, you did it again. You waited to the last minute to find a special gift for your special lady. Guys, I've got your back at House of Diamonds. Earrings, pendants, and one-of-a-kind designs. You pick it, we wrap it. Come see me, Gene, at House of Diamonds.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan, and the other place is your sports watching headquarters this fall. Now with 5 great area locations, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Enjoy Red Friday specials all day.
Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs, appears every week on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, Inc. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at Diamonds Direct. DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at NissanUSA.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop D-O-double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line, plus 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O-double G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that J.
With 24 monthly bill credits for eligible trade-ins and 4 new lines without our pay. Well qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits or credit stop and balance on required finance agreement is due $999.99. Credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
2-car crash eastbound 70 at 435 northbound to the Blue Ridge cutoff, closing off that right lane. Traffic is backing up behind that on eastbound 70 as you approach the 435 exchange. A stalled car northbound 35, the on-ramp from Lamar. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Nick Bolton, MIZ. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let me tell you what the next 30 minutes are going to sound like. We're going to have Dr. Tom Christ on the show. He has his doctorate in physical therapy. Rob tells me he also is a board-certified orthopedic specialist. So he was way better at school than I was, and Rob, and probably you. He's done a lot. He's going to be on the show in about 15 minutes. We'll talk about this Patrick Mahomes thing. It is the top story in Kansas City. It is the top story in the National Football League. At the top of the hour, I will tell you guys how I think this is Andy Reid's fault and how I think that Andy Reid failed Patrick Mahomes. But right now, we are talking about I have already made my decision for the week. I don't care how Patrick is progressing over the week. I don't care how he's responding to the therapy. You're not playing this week. And that might not be a popular opinion with Patrick, but we are doing this for the future. And you are banged up. You have been getting banged up the last month. I think it is in your best interest to sit this game out. I'm not saying that I would sit him out also for the Pittsburgh Steelers game, But having a nice 10 days to just get healthy, get right, get physically ready, I think at this point of the season could be really beneficial to Patrick Mahomes. And I also have this opinion because I think they could win. If they were starting Shane Buechele this week, I might have a different opinion. But Carson Wentz is a guy who has made almost 100 starts in his career. He's a guy in his mid-30s. He's a guy that from a physical standpoint is right in line with what I think the Chiefs want to do offensively. I think they can manage for 60 minutes with Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback. If you don't think that Carson Wentz can win you a game in this spot, why is he on the roster? He's on the roster because of this. You have an injury to your quarterback. You need your backup quarterback to step in and help you win a game. This is why you made the decision in free agency to go get us somebody like him with his pedigree to step in for this moment. So trust Carson, trust your roster, trust your defense, and go win a game at home against, in my opinion, the Texans are going to be the worst team in the AFC playoffs. I don't like this Texans team. This Texans team has regressed from where I think they were last season. I think you, the Chiefs, as your pass rush, I think you can get to C.J. Stroud. I think you can disrupt their offense. And I think that you can win a rock fight at home. I don't think it's going to be necessarily pretty on Saturday against Houston, but how many of the Chiefs games have been pretty? They've all been kind of like this. Yesterday was a rock fight, a low-scoring, grind-it-out, turnover-filled fest. So you're not a stranger to doing that. Go do that with Carson Wentz. That's how I would play it. I would not play Patrick Mahomes on Saturday. You guys know my stance. Let's hear what you guys think. We got some time before Dr. Chris joins us on the show. 913-586-7965. Let's go to Dalton. He called into the show. Hey, Dalton.
Hello.
Hey, man.
How we doing?
Doing great, man.
So I 100% agree with what you're saying. Mahomes 100% needs to sit it out. Go with the game plan with Carson Wentz. He was checking the ball down great. If he didn't have anything, he was tucking and running. Like, he has the ability to throw that deep ball if need be to Xavier. Like, you might as well just make the game plan, let Mahomes rest for 10 days, and then, come Steelers game. If he's ready, cool. If not, you have another solid QB that's going to be right there to help you take where you need to go, because the goal isn't Saturday or Wednesday. The goal is a three-peat. We all know that. That's what we all want. That's what everyone wants. So let's play for the three-peat.
Dalton, 100%, man. I appreciate the phone call. And to me, the only argument for the Mahomes thing is the 1 seed, which is obviously a huge benefit. Hey, Pat, you try to gut it out. You grind it out. And we know you're not 100%. Let's go lock up that bye, and then you can take all the time you need on the back end to get healthy. I mean, that would be their logic. That would be the argument if they go out there and play them. I just think that you can kind of kill two birds with one rock here, and I think you can do both. Let's go back to the phone lines. Big Al called into the show. Hey, Big Al.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great, man.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on what you've been saying you're talking about the last hour or so. It's just, obviously, I can see your side of it with Pat Mahomes not playing, but I got to ask you a couple of questions. So
okay.
One is, and obviously you guys know this, you study this, but obviously the Bills on the number one spot. So let's talk about that first. So number one spot, Bills have the lightest schedule with Patriots twice and the Jets, right? I think they'll win easily those three for the number one. I'm saying if you were competing against that, right? The Chiefs have Houston, Pittsburgh, and then obviously the Broncos. So what's the chance of, and this is why I think Patrick's going to try to play this weekend, right, Saturday against Houston. What's the possibility of having him start possibly Saturday, and then, everybody keeps saying if you win 2 out of the 3, you got the number one number one spot, then you get that bye, and maybe he doesn't have to play against the Broncos. Okay, so that's one thing, and then the other thing I was going to ask you about the tackle side with Kingsley. I heard that maybe the Chiefs were thinking about putting him at guard if he doesn't work out at tackle. What's your thoughts on that? All right, thanks for listening.
No problem, Big Al, man. I appreciate the phone call. I could see a scenario where the Chiefs don't bring back Trey Smith next year, and it's not because of performance or anything. I think that Trey Smith is going to be one of the more sought-after free agents. So a team comes in, big deal, takes Trey Smith away, and instead of them going out and spending big money to try to replace him or a draft pick, they just try to either convert Wanye or Kingsley Suamataia. I don't think that we're going to see Kingsley anymore this season at left tackle. I don't know if we're going to see him anymore in his career at tackle. Could they convert him over to a guard? Let's see what happens in the offseason. For this season, I think that Kingsley is out of sight, out of mind. I think he is in the Josh Uche toy box, locked away, and may never be played with again. So that's one side of it. I also think in the conversation about the 1 seed, to answer the other question that Big Al had, is they have a 2-game lead on Buffalo with 3 games to go. It is not a 1-game lead. So they have a little bit of a wiggle room here. Now, you can go ahead and what we've been talking about last week, Rob, finish your food right now, and then you can rest on the back half, or you could acknowledge that right now you have a little bit of give, and you could just take some of that give now and roll the dice. That maybe you lose to the Houston Texans, and now you're only 1 game up of Buffalo with 2 games to go. Well, in that scenario, Pat comes back, you win these next 2 games, you then get the bye on the back half anyway, and you can still end up okay. Or you can win this game. You then just got to win one of your next 2 games, and obviously you got things figured out anyway. So it's a math game, but they do have a little bit of wiggle room here where they don't have to win the Houston Texans game. It'd be great if they won the Houston Texans game, but it is not a must-win need. It is a you'd like to have. And if you're in a position with 3 weeks to have or to go to have we'd like to have this kind of game, I'm using that to try to get my quarterback 100% who has been taking a beating these last couple of weeks. We got time to take one more call here. Robert, you called into the drive. Hey, Robert, happy holidays, man.
How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man.
Okay, I from the way that you're looking at it is reasonable. It's not an unreasonable thing here. But what the Chiefs are looking at is saying, why don't we get this one at home, which may be a little bit easier against a weaker opponent like Houston, and then go on the road when we have 2 opportunities to get a victory. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that makes – go ahead.
No, absolutely, Robert. I appreciate the call. We're up against it here. The doctor's calling in 5 minutes. No, and that's the other side of the argument. That's the finish your breakfast now. Finish your food. Win these next 2 games against Pittsburgh and Houston, and you don't need to worry about anything that Buffalo does. If you win these next 2 weeks, and if Mahomes is cleared to play, and you beat Houston, which I think you will beat Houston either way, Mahomes plays or doesn't play, and then you go on the road and beat Pittsburgh, who could potentially not have TJ Watt, then you can sit Patrick Mahomes out for the entire Broncos game, and you can basically give Mahomes the 25th of December until January 18th off. You can basically give him that amount of time. Right now, we're really debating when you would start the break and how do you manage all of these days. The Chiefs are going to be in a position where, regardless, Mahomes is going to be in a position to take some time off. You can either take some of that time off now and also on the back end and split it up a little bit, or you can go hard, push Mahomes in this scenario, which I think we would agree. I don't think he'll be 100%. I do think he'll be able to play. You can push him now and see if you can go ahead and lock that 1 seed up. And you're also kind of hoping that maybe Buffalo slips up a little bit. They lose one of these next 3 games, and the football guys can really do you a service in regards to how you're going to handle Mahomes down the stretch. We can keep talking about this coming up in a bit. Coming up, we're going to be joined by Dr. Tom Christ. He is a physical therapist. He is a board-certified orthopedic specialist. He is going to be on to talk about Mahomes' injury. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We got a double dip for Monday Night Football, and this Monday Night Football, FanDuel wants you to win even bigger. Right now, all customers can get a 30% catch-a-pass profit boost on either Monday Night Football game. So that means you can boost your next NFL catch-a-pass bet by 30% and take home even more winnings during either Bears and Vikings or Falcons and Raiders. You can bet on the over-under, point spread, player props, and so much more. Plus, if you win, you're going to get paid instantly. Don't wait. Download America's #1 sportsbook app by visiting FanDuel.com using the promo code KFNZ to take advantage of this profit boost. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Are you having the holiday horrors trying to figure out the perfect gift for everyone on your list? So many people, so few ideas. It's terrifying. But guess what? I have the perfect gift you can give everyone. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. That's right, hands-free Skechers slip-ins. They're the perfect gift for a mother, for a father, grandma, grandpa, for the kids, for a friend, for a coworker, and for your boss who you're hoping gives you that big holiday bonus. For everybody. Because Skechers slip-ins don't cost a ton of money. They last a long time and people will appreciate them forever. Every time they slip your gift on, they will smile. And why are they smiling? Because with Skechers slip-ins, they'll never have to touch their shoes again. Just step into them and they're on, with no bending down, no retying the laces, and you are good to go. And they're so easy to give. No more wandering the store, no more scrolling online wondering what to get people. Give the newest thing, the most convenient change in footwear that's ever been. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Find Skechers slip-ins for the holidays at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, layoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Tackle the NFL action on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help's your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
Only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500. Discount on eligible product only and reflected in quote. Restrictions apply. See Pro Desk for details. MVP's Pros Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms subject to change.
It's winter clearance time at Volkswagen Lee Summit. Get up to $5,000 off the 24 Jetta, 24 Taos, and 24 Tiguan, and up to $8,000 off the 24 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport. Hurry in before we sell out of 24s. Visit VWLeeSummit.com.
Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
At Metro Ford, family owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption. Only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic is brought to you by Summit Zoo and Pets. Multi-car crash, northbound 29 at Davidson Road. It is off to the shoulder, just mostly a distraction. The other collision that we're keeping an eye on is eastbound 70 to northbound 435 right there at the Blue Ridge cutoff. That's got the right lane closed, traffic backing up behind that. Discover your ideal furry, scaly, or finned friend at Summit Doing Pets. With a wide range of animals and top-notch supplies, we're your one-stop shop for all your pet needs. Summit Doing Pets, where pets and people unite. Visit us in store or online at summitzoo.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Patrick Mahomes joins CDOT every week during the season, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
We are very happy right now to be joined by Tom Christ. He is a doctor of physical therapy. He also is a board-certified orthopedic specialist. We're going to learn a little bit more about Patrick Mahomes, who is dealing with a high ankle sprain. Tom, happy to have you join us today, man. Thanks a bunch.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. Let's just start with this. What was your reaction to the video and watching it in real time for the injury that Patrick Mahomes took in the game against Cleveland?
Yeah, so, I mean, right away, you can see the defender lands on him from the outside, which creates a outside to inside, if you will, force on the ankle. And then another defender hits him, so his body's going the other way. So his foot is trapped. He has a force from the outside on the ankle and another force up higher on his body. So that's a super common mechanism in football for a high ankle sprain. And right away, that was the first thing that came to mind. And when you watch him walk off the field, he was having a hard time bearing weight on that right ankle. So right away, that's exactly what I was thinking.
We've seen him take very similar hits. How is this injury similar or possibly different than some of the high ankle sprains that we've seen him take in years past? This is not the first time that we've had these conversations around Patrick Mahomes.
No, of course not. And obviously the Super Bowl run 2 years ago is what comes to mind. Now, from what we're hearing from Kansas City on this one, they're saying the word mild. And Chiefs fans are going to love to hear that because with a high ankle sprain, there's a very wide spectrum of how it can functionally impact an athlete. And particularly with Mahomes being a right-handed passer, it is his right ankle. That's the one that he needs to push off the ground for his throw power. So with it being mild, this is definitely less likely to be a significant factor running into the playoffs and things like that. Whereas if we remember 2 years ago, that one was pretty significant. And I don't know how he was able to come back the next week and play fairly well. And then even in the Super Bowl, re-aggravated it right before halftime, still came out and played really, really well. So we've seen him miraculously play well through what was probably a more serious version of this injury before. And the fact that he has, while not ideal, he has 3 weeks leading up to the playoffs that if they need to rest him, to let him to recover, by playoff time, from what we're hearing, he should be good.
Right now, we're talking to Tom Christ. He is a doctor of physical therapy. He also is a board-certified orthopedic specialist, trying to learn a little bit more about Patrick Mahomes. The, I guess, analogy or point that I've been making today is we hear from football players all the time that there is a difference between being hurt and injured. It sounds to me like Patrick Mahomes is hurt. He is not injured, that if this was a playoff game, that he could play.
That's what the reports are telling us. Again, they're using the word mild, which is huge here. And of course, the week to week is not what you like to hear. You prefer to hear day to day. But with this type of injury, you'll take the word mild, you'll take week to week, and you'll take Andy Reid's comments that he could have gone back in, but there was no reason to do that. So all things considered, it sounds like it could be a lot worse for him.
Tom, based on the injuries that you've seen that are similar to this one, what is the recovery time usually like for something like this?
Yeah, so again, there's a wide spectrum here. If you Google high ankle sprain healing times, you're going to see 6 to 8 weeks. And honestly, for him to be truly 100%, it probably would be that kind of timeline. But we know that this guy's built different than the rest of us humans. So for him to get back on the field, it may really just be a couple weeks. I would doubt that he plays this upcoming week, but of course, we'll see how things go in practice. We know that he's a notoriously hard worker and does everything right off the field. So maybe he could play this week, but based off what we're hearing so far, I would expect him to miss this week and possibly get ready for that Christmas game. We'll see. But, yeah, the typical timeline, it's just so variable when it comes to these athletes because they're just built different than us. They rehab for a job when they get injured. Like, they're rehabbing all day long. So they're putting themselves in the best environment to get ready. So I don't think that 6 to 8 week timeline is going to apply to Mahomes here.
If you can you take us through the treatment process for something like this? Like, what are you doing as someone in your position to try to help an athlete get back onto the field and try to feel as close to 100% as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the challenges with the high ankle sprain is what's happening is the two bones in the lower leg, the tibia and the fibula, are normally they sit snugly on one of the foot bones. It's called the talus, and they make the ankle joint. And it needs to be nice and snug. What happens with a high ankle sprain is the tibia and the fibula kind of get pulled apart from each other, so there's some instability in the ankle. The amount of instability is going to depend on how bad the injury is. So again, with his being mild, probably not a ton. But you need to do whatever you can to realign those bones properly. So early on, sometimes if it's bad, you'll see casting. That's not going to be the case with him. They're probably going to tape it, brace it big time to reapproximate those bones. And then from a rehab standpoint, he's got to get the swelling down. He's got to get the range of motion back. He's got to get the strength back. And then what's really critical is that he gets his balance on one leg and his ability to power off that one leg back. So that comes with a lot of single leg exercises, balancing on one leg on like foam pads and Bosu balls and things like that. But also just like generally getting that strength back so the muscles can help stabilize that joint a little bit better.
Thinking long term, is this an injury that you think he's going to need surgery for?
Again, they're saying mild. So right now, no. When you think surgery, do you think the tightrope surgery, which of course Tua made famous in college, Cooper Kupp had recently? That is reserved for the severe ends of this spectrum. So from what they're reporting out of Kansas City, I'm absolutely not thinking that right now.
I understand that you're not diagnosing him, so maybe this would be tough to do. If you were looking into the 8-ball, do you think he's going to play? It sounds like you don't think he's going to play.
Again, we really just have to see what practice looks like. But from the early reports, I would say I wouldn't expect to see him out there this week, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to find a way on the field for the following week.
And that is Tom Christ joining us on the show today. He is a doctor of physical therapy. He is a board-certified orthopedic specialist, giving us the latest, trying to learn a little bit more about Patrick Mahomes, and we'll see what this week looks like. Tom, great stuff today, man. Appreciate your time. Thanks a lot for hopping on.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. That is Tom Christ joining us on the show. Let's react to what he had to say coming up at the top of the hour. We can take more of your phone calls, 913-586-7965. If you want to talk about it, my big takeaway from yesterday is I think that Andy Reid failed Patrick Mahomes. I'll explain more on the other side. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic is brought to you by Summit Zoo and Pets. Multi-car crash, northbound 29 at Davidson Road. It is off to the shoulder, just mostly a distraction. The other collision that we're keeping an eye on is eastbound 70 to northbound 435 right there at the Blue Ridge cutoff. That's got the right lane closed, traffic backing up behind that. Discover your ideal furry, scaly, or finned friend at Summit Zoo and Pets. With a wide range of animals and top-notch supplies, we're your one-stop shop for all your pet needs. Summit Zoo and Pets, where pets and people unite. Visit us in store or online at summitzoo.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. Week 15 of pro football wraps up tonight. Monday Night Football doubleheader, the first of the 2 games. Minnesota, about a touchdown favorite at home against Chicago. The total in the game is 44. And Chicago might have changed head coaches, but this team still looks absolutely brutal. Blown out last week on the road in San Francisco, and I expect Minnesota to blow Chicago out in this game. Minnesota's head coach making a run towards Coach of the Year. The quarterback is playing well. The receivers are playing well. So coming up tonight in the first of the Monday Night Football doubleheader, lay the 7 with Minnesota against Chicago. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday Night Report absolutely free on recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. Chicago at Minnesota. With promising young players at quarterback and wide receiver, Chicago has the potential to make explosive plays in the air. Minnesota possesses a high-powered offense that can exploit mismatches and score quickly. Tonight is going to be a monster game. I've got the side and total. That's 2 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. Call now, 1-800-244-5506. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. Chicago, Minnesota, side and total. I love to go 2-0. Get the rest of the season free. 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their 2nd month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
This report is brought to you by waysidewaifs.org. Save a life this holiday season. Wayside Waifs has rescued pets from puppy mills, hoarding situations, and found them abandoned on the streets. Give these homeless animals a second chance. Make miracles happen. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit waysidewaifs.org.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Texans game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington. Happy to be here. Rob is here as well, taking you up until 6 o'clock. This is our last full week of the year. Christmas is on a Wednesday. New Year's Day is on a Wednesday. So we're going to be off and on the next couple of days or next couple of weeks, as I imagine many of you are going to be with work as well. But we will be here every day this week. At least I will. Rob will find some way to get out of work this week. I don't know what day it'll be. I would say that he's going to KU's bowl game. They didn't make one this year. You know Rob loves to go to a Liberty Bowl. Oh, my goodness. Rob would have been at that baked potato bowl in Idaho if Kansas had been lucky enough to win that game against Baylor, but they did not. But he will find some way to get out of this. He's going to go caroling with his wife, or who knows what you're going to do, Rob. I'm here because I'm committed. I'm locked in this football season, and I wish I had that same follow-through from you, but I don't. You're like Devondre Campbell. I don't know if I can count on you. I don't know if you're somebody that I can depend on, but you know what? I'll try to make it. All right, this is how I would like to start the show, and we can take you guys' phone calls on this, 913-586-7965. I can't remember the last time that we took calls in the 5 o'clock hour, but I am very much open to it today. I think that Andy Reid let Patrick Mahomes down. This is why. Their offensive line is a problem. I know what their record is. They have had 4 different people start at left tackle. Yesterday, if you were going by ESPN analytics, it is the most pressures that they have given up this season. Their quarterback was in constant danger on Sunday, and the Chiefs really at no point tried to lighten the workload for him and keep him out of harm's way. He was hit 12 times yesterday, and if you were going by the ESPN analytics, he was pressured 54% of the time. That is the highest pressure rate that Patrick Mahomes has faced since COVID in 2020. So we are talking about the pass rush. The pressure was a lot yesterday. And they dropped him back 38 times in a game in which they were never in danger. They were never behind in this game, and they were up at least double digits for the final 35 minutes of the game. They were in complete control of this game from start to finish and had long periods and stretches in which they were in complete control. And for whatever reason, some inexplicable reason, the Chiefs just simply refused to run the football in the second half. Carrington, what are you talking about? There were 2 drives with less than 20 minutes in the game in which the Chiefs had back-to-back 3-and-outs and did not run the ball one time on those drives or did not complete a pass. Rob, they ran a drive that started in the third quarter, 3:13 on the clock. They threw it 3 times. They got 3 incompletions. It took 26 seconds off the clock. The defense gives them the ball back. They have another drive. All right, they get the ball back this time with 21 seconds left. Listen to this, Rob. This is crazy. The Chiefs got the ball with 21 seconds left in the third quarter, and they punted the ball before the quarter was up. You know how hard that is, folks? To get the ball with 21 seconds left in the quarter and simultaneously lose possession in the same quarter, not by a turnover, that's really, really difficult to do. They ran 6 straight pass plays here and didn't run the football. On that stretch that I'm telling you guys about, Patrick Mahomes got hit 4 times. I don't know why in the second half the Chiefs didn't make more of a concerted effort to keep Patrick Mahomes out of harm's way and not let him get hit. You know when your quarterback is in the absolute safest position? When you're handing the football off. Let Isaiah Pacheco take those hits. Let Kareem Hunt take those hits. Let Samaje Perine and Carson Steele. You also have the advantage of keeping the clock moving and grinding the game away, a game in which you were in complete control. I'll give you guys more stats from this game. The Chiefs ran 22 plays in which they had at least a 14-point lead. 22 plays. They threw it 16 times and ran it 6. I'm no football expert. I'm just somebody like you that watches games. And I just have more free time because it's my job to look at the stats and read the stats. But I am no better equipped at this than you are, I promise you. Tell me what game plan that makes sense when your quarterback is getting beat up the way that he was getting beat up yesterday, why you would continue to drop back and pass the ball with the comfortable lead as opposed to running the clock, running the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage, trying to keep them out of harm's way. I hate to sound callous here, but some of this was bound to happen. Patrick Mahomes has been hit 67 times this year, and 35 of those hits have happened in the last month. You've been watching the same games that I have. Pat's been getting beat up. It is not a surprise to me that one of those hits that he took eventually hurt him. Because you've been letting him get hit way too much. You could have ran the football here. You could have protected him. You could have kept him out of harm's way. You could have ran the clock. And for whatever reason, the Chiefs just had no interest in doing that in the second half of the game. That's on Andy. I'm sorry. I'm not putting that on Matt Nagy. I'm not putting that on the quarterback. I'm putting that on the CEO, the Hall of Fame head coach, one of the greatest coaches of his generation. I don't know what has happened the last month or so, but it coincides with Mahomes has been taking more hits as they have gotten away from wanting to run the football. There was a stretch there, Rob, you remember, Kareem Hunt's over-under on carries was like 18.5. They were committed to running the football with Kareem Hunt. It's not like he was getting 5-6 yards a pop. It didn't matter. They had a clear game plan on what they wanted to do, and it was control the line of scrimmage and run the football. It then also is not a surprise that their quarterback has taken more hits as they have gotten away from that. It almost coincides with when Isaiah Pacheco got back. I thought when Pacheco got back, they would just continue the formula that they had and would run the football. Tell me how in a game in which they were up double digits the entire second half, tell me how they threw the ball 38 times with Mahomes, a day in which it was not working. Patrick Mahomes threw it 38 times and threw for 159 yards. It's the worst completion percentage he's ever had as a starter. The pass game was not working yesterday. And they just kept throwing it. Just, hey, keep going back there. Keep throwing it. Keep getting hit. Keep getting beat up. And it eventually cost them. So, again, we can take you guys' phone calls on this. Maybe you think that I'm way off on this, 913-586-7965. And I don't want to take away from some of the good that they did yesterday. Their defense was great, and we can get to that in the hits. But the number one story is their quarterback got hurt. And I'm telling you that it was preventable if they had just simply run the football. But they had no interest in it yesterday. There's no reason to have two drives that take less than a minute. You didn't run the football one time on any of those drives. It doesn't make any sense to get the ball with 21 seconds left in the third quarter and give up possession within the same quarter. It doesn't make sense. It was clear stubbornness yesterday on their part in running the football, and it potentially lost them their quarterback for their next upcoming game. I just don't know how you can see the game plan and flow of it and act any different.
I wonder if, and I am not defending Andy Reid by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm trying to get into Andy Reid's mindset of what led to that. Because Andy Reid has forgot more about football than most people will ever know. But taking what Mitch Holthus was 47 seconds off the clock over two possessions is just nonsensical. I wonder if the issues the offense has faced in the passing game, which did not just pop up yesterday out of nowhere. They have had pass game issues this season, whether it be protection, whether it be, drops, whether it be just can't connect on that deep ball. They've had a little bit of maybe issues is unfair, but they've had hiccups in their passing game. I wonder if Andy Reid was trying to use yesterday when they're up 21-0 as a chance to work out some of the kinks. Hey, we're just trying to, get into a rhythm because it is December 15th, and we got to be at 100%. So we have a chance here in a 21-0 game in front of a spattering of Browns fans to get our timing right and get back to who we are. I wonder if that was the plan, and it just backfired horribly because there is no explanation beyond that I can explain logically why Andy Reid, who likes the pass as much as I do, just didn't do it to the point where his starting quarterback couldn't finish the game. And by the way, Carson Wentz had a rush in the game because even when Wentz came in, he was still, let's throw the ball around. So it just doesn't make any sense to me.
You might find this, I don't know, I don't even know why I'm going to say what I was about to say. Like, you might find this hard to believe. Do you know what they did the first 3 plays when Carson Wentz came in the game?
I'm going to guess pass.
They threw it 3 straight times when Carson Wentz came in the game. I'm serious. We can look this up. It's right here. It's on ESPN.com. Click on play-by-play. Their backup quarterback came in, and they threw it the first 3 times that he was out there. It makes no sense. I'm sorry. Andy is a lot of really, really good things. He's the best coach in the league. He is maybe the best coach of his generation. He is a top 5 coach in the National Football League. The stubbornness yesterday is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It is. This is the biggest challenge that they have ever had. I know what their record is. They have a clear problem at left tackle, and they have a clear problem when it comes to protecting their quarterback and keeping them upright. And they do not get a break from that from now until the rest of the season. There are no more bad pass rushing teams either on their schedule or that make the postseason. Everybody can get after your quarterback. And at this point, everybody knows what the weakness is with this team. It's their tackle position. This isn't me being negative. They've had 4 different people start at left tackle this year. The left tackle that they thought at the beginning of the season, all offseason, this is our guy. We believe in him. He is our starter. He has been a healthy DMP. They don't feel comfortable enough to put him back on the field. Instead of trusting Wanye to play left tackle yesterday or trusting Kingsley Suamataia yesterday to play left tackle, they rather completely rearrange the deck chairs and put Joe Thuney over there and have a completely different setup. The Chiefs have told you we are out of options at left tackle. Their options are DJ Humphries get healthy or Joe Thuney play left tackle. They are not putting Wanye over there unless absolutely forced, and Kingsley is not playing anymore for the rest of the season. He's done. This is the biggest challenge that they've had so far. Like, we can talk about their cornerbacks, and I think their cornerback issues are a little bit resolved, and Steven Nelson is coming back. Wide receiver, for the most part, is getting resolved with D-Hop. I think Xavier Worthy played really well yesterday, and I think they found a good role for him and kind of using him in that hybrid X-factor, do-everything kind of guy. They're getting Hollywood back at some point in the next 10 days. Hollywood is going to play either Saturday or Wednesday. He is playing. A lot of their problems are starting to get fixed, and they deserve a lot of credit for solving those issues on the fly. Their defense feels like it's recovered. They got Charles Omenihu back. They got great pressure. They took the ball away yesterday. The Chiefs did a lot of good things yesterday. And it was one of their more comfortable wins that they've had this season because they did so many good things. That's why it is so puzzling the way that Andy managed the game yesterday, because he put their quarterback in harm's way when you really didn't have to, and you just didn't manage the game properly. Whether it was the end of the first half where it was clear confusion on the field goal, the Chiefs have a timeout and then just decided not to call one, and that was a disaster. Then they didn't go for it there on 4th down, but then they go for it later on 4th down, and then that's the play that Mahomes gets hurt. Whether it was they had 22 plays in which they were up at least 14 points and they threw it 16 times, Andy just did not manage the game correctly yesterday, and it ended up costing him. We'll see how much it ends up costing him, but it ended up costing them yesterday where their quarterback left the field hobbling when he didn't have to yesterday. Let's go to the phone lines and take your calls, and then, Rob, we'll get to the hits, 913-586-7965. Let's go to David. He called into the drive. Hey, David, happy holidays, man.
Hey, thank you very much, C-Dot. Say, I've been listening on and off all day today, and I have to tell you, I am in total agreement with everything you have said. I saw it yesterday, and I'm a nobody who's never played a down in organized football. But why in the world doesn't Andy play to the strength of his team? We have a great interior offensive line. Run the frickin' ball, talk to these people, and go for it. There's times besides that, let me back up just a minute. If you've got a balanced attack, it feeds one thing, feeds upon another. A balanced attack will keep the defense guessing. You know it, I know it. Why is Andy Reid so dead set against running the ball when it calls for that? He's putting his players in positions that they're not that good at. And my final question is this. How do we get this message to Andy Reid? The guy, he has to know this, but I think the guy needs to be reminded again somehow, some way. Can you do it for us?
You know what, David? I will continue to do my best. I appreciate it. Happy holidays to you. In some ways, Andy is what he is. Their offense this season, if you were looking at the stretch in which you would say, when was the Chiefs' offense their best? Their offense was at its best when they ran the football effectively. They had a stretch there for a month against New Orleans, San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Tampa Bay. They scored at least 26 points in all of those games. They gave Kareem Hunt at least 22 carries in all of those games, and they were the more physical team, controlled the line of scrimmage, and they stayed dedicated to running the football. That was the difference. Their quarterback wasn't getting hit nearly as much, and they controlled the line of scrimmage. They haven't shown that same dedication to running the football of late, and you kind of see what has happened to the offense. Let's go back to the phone lines, 913-586-7965. Jeff, you called into the show. Hey, Jeff, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing okay. I was calling to offer a different slant on this blocking problem the Chiefs had. I don't think there's any linemen that are going to help us at this point, but we've had one guy the last 2 years that we don't have anymore that I think could still make a difference. We had Jerick McKinnon, who's the best pass-blocking back in the league back there, chipping the first guy that gets through every play for the last 2 years. I don't know if Jerick is in football shape, but if he is, how about putting him back there on every single third down play the rest of the year? He's a better pass catcher out of the backfield than Hunt and Pacheco, and the other two really aren't very good blockers. McKinnon's been the difference the last couple of years.
No, absolutely, Jeff, and I appreciate the phone call. I don't think they're going back to Jerick McKinnon. I think they've kind of decided that Samaje Perine is going to be that Jerick McKinnon option. I mean, the plan, I think they've told us the plan. The plan is DJ Humphries needs to get healthy, and DJ Humphries needs to be a plus player for them. I do think that DJ Humphries comes in and solves a lot of their problems. I do think that. I think that if DJ Humphries works, and you can get your offense back to how it should be. Humphries at left tackle, Tooney at left guard, Creed Humphrey at center, Trey Smith at right guard, and Jawan Taylor at right tackle. That is their best chance of fixing the problems that they have with the offensive line. That's their best chance. It is not Joe Tooney at left tackle and Caliendo and we'll figure it out, and that is not their best chance when it comes to their offensive line and fixing some of the protection issues that they have. They cannot survive with their quarterback getting hit as much as he's been getting hit. 35 times in the last month? You going up against Houston with their pass rushers. You got a game against Pittsburgh coming up. That Broncos defense, I think, has proven to be pretty capable. And we're not even talking about before you get to the postseason where you're also going to be going up against teams that can get after the other team's quarterback. You cannot continue to have your quarterback, who is going to be dealing with this ankle injury from now until the end of the season, you cannot continue to have him getting hit 8, 9, 10. He got hit 12 times yesterday. That is a lot for your quarterback to be taking that level of punishment. Let's get back to the phone lines. Jacob called into the show. Hey, Jacob, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. First of all, disclaimer, I am a Chargers fan, but I truly appreciate your show. And in spite of being a Chargers fan, this is actually probably my favorite radio or television show to watch or listen to for sports. So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Jacob.
I wanted to, so being a Chargers fan, you know, I was watching very closely last weekend when the Chiefs played the Chargers. I totally agree with what you're saying about Andy Reid's use, you know, pass versus run. It kind of seemed like, I think last week they had a 16-0 lead at halftime, and it just felt like, you know, the Chargers' run defense is really, I think, one of their bigger weaknesses defensively. And they didn't really go to the run in the second half. I thought that was kind of interesting. They continue to spread it out. And then my second point I want to make is I don't know if the injury to Pacheco is playing into this at all, or the heavy usage of Kareem Hunt earlier in the year, but I guess I don't fully understand the reasoning behind it to begin with. And then lastly, again, being a Chargers fan, I despite that, I've seen a lot on Twitter about, just silly takes about Mahomes, his typical annual, quote, fake ankle injury. And I go out on a limb, despite being a Chargers fan, saying, this offensive line has been a problem for the pass rush of opposing teams. And it's really, what are you going to do when A, you're passing the percentage of the time that they are, but B, every time you drop back, you're under pressure against a guy like Mac or Bosa or Myles Garrett, and he just continues to do it. So I go out on a limb defending Mahomes, despite what these silly Bills fan bases, even people in my own fan base will say about it. I don't think anybody in that group has ever rolled an ankle. You can't put pressure on it. So I won't be surprised if he plays this week because of how tough he is, but that's all I got to say.
No, Jacob, let me put you on hold here. Can we give Jacob a pizza, man? Anytime that the Chargers fans feel like this place is a safe haven for them, I want to encourage more Chargers fans. That's what we need more in this world. We need more Chargers fans. They need more support. And the Drive is always going to be a sanctuary for people that love and appreciate the Los Angeles Chargers the way that I do. So make sure we take care of Jacob for the holidays. Rob, give him 2 pizzas, actually. He just doesn't need 1. He needs 2 pizzas so he can have 1 for the Chargers game on Thursday night and 1 for the Chiefs game on Saturday. You get 2 pizzas, 1 pepperoni, 1 sausage. Take care of my man Jacob here, because we got to come together. We got to stick together. I do honestly want to give the defense a lot of credit. And someone on the text line says, C-Dot, you're acting like they didn't win. No, they absolutely won. The story is not about the win. The defense was great. Defense was phenomenal. The story is about their quarterback right now. And to me, the story is, how did he get hurt? The how. And given how the Chiefs had such control of that game in the second half, if you were telling me that Patrick Mahomes, let's do the say it out loud test. Patrick Mahomes got hurt in a 2-possession game on a pass play in the 4th quarter. What? Why? Punt the ball. Run the ball. That's how you got hurt? That could maybe be Mahomes' last play of the regular season. That's how it ended? On a pass play on 4th down when they're up 21-7 against the Browns? Run the ball. That's all I wanted them to do, was show a commitment to run the ball. Coming up on the other side, I want to play for you guys Dr. Jesse Morse. He was on the show earlier. He is with the injury experts. He has been covering NFL players for 25 years. I want to play for you guys what he had to say. He actually thinks there's a chance that Patrick Mahomes could play on Saturday. We'll play for you what he said. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, KC, when I discovered my new passion, I dove into social media, got on some shows, and soon Almost Andy Reid was born. But this winter, there's something new you might discover that's not as great. Issues with your garage door. Don't get stuck in the cold. Get your annual maintenance check for just $100 or a free replacement quote from my friends at Renner Garage Door. They carry top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, trusted locally since 1956.
RENNER, RENNER. GimmeTheVin.com. Our expert buying team knows exotics, luxury cars, classics, diesels, lifted stuff, hot rods, inside and out. We buy them at GiveMeTheVin.com. It's a one-stop shop to get into a pool of absolute experts. Join my YouTube channel, John Clay Wolf. GimmeTheVin.com. They don't call me America's best car buyer for nothing.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey,
it's Alex Gold from Max Motors in Belton with their huge year-end heavy-duty sale. Every new 2024 Ram 2500 in stock is 20% off MSRP. New 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, up to $13,000 off MSRP. Stock number S240367. Must finance with dealer lender. Offer expires 1/2/25. And if you're looking for the max trade-in values in the Midwest, it's Max Motors, just a short drive to Belton. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car, maxmotors.com.
Many of us are looking forward to retirement. But when it's time to tap into your savings, do you know how long your money will last? Make a game plan for your retirement income distribution from UMB Private Wealth. They'll create a custom strategy for you to help make your hard-earned retirement savings last. Just go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your personal appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
Well, guys, you did it again. Even though Christmas is on the same date every year, you got busy, and now it's crunch time. And you got nothing for her. Well, that's not exactly true. You got me. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, where there are 3 things we do better than anyone else. We have better diamonds at better prices than even the online guys. We have the most skilled and technologically advanced custom jewelry shop within 200 miles. And no one, I mean no one, personally takes care of last-minute shoppers like I do. Hey, until I opened House of Diamonds, that last-minute guy was me. So I get it. Come in and see me. I'll show you a collection of one-of-a-kind pendants, earrings, bracelets, and rings that will blow her away. She'll think you started working on this back in July. Fellow procrastinators, I've got your back. Come see me at House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. Week 15 of pro football wraps up tonight. Monday Night Football doubleheader. The first of the 2 games, Minnesota, about a touchdown favorite at home against Chicago. The total in the game is 44. Chicago might have changed head coaches, but this team still looks absolutely brutal. Blown out last week on the road in San Francisco, and I expect Minnesota to blow Chicago out in this game. Minnesota's head coach making a run towards Coach of the Year. The quarterback is playing well. The receivers are playing well. So coming up tonight in the first of the Monday Night Football doubleheader, lay the 7 with Minnesota against Chicago. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Xfinity here. How can we help? Yeah, there are so many football games streaming this season. Can Xfinity Internet handle it? Oh, we know the game is only live once, so we built a network with all-pro speeds and low lag so you don't miss a snap. So I can yell, "He's open!" when he's actually open? Yeah, but the quarterback still can't hear you.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and TV and enjoy instant access to your favorite live sports with the Xfinity Stream app. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Streaming content limited to the U.S. Programming subject to change.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
At Metro Ford, family owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption. Only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Bud Light for the Fans Football Show with Mitchell Schwartz or Sean Barber and Jay Binkley. Every Friday this football season starting at 6 at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations. Enjoy $5 talls, prizes, and Chiefs gear. For a list of locations, go to 965thefan.com. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Two-car crash in North Kansas City, southbound 35 at Armour Road. This is closing 2 left lanes. Expect big delays behind it. Stalled car stopping traffic northbound 35 at the on-ramp from Lamar. And things still looking a little heavy eastbound 70 over the 435 exchange. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Rashee Rice. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the show. There's so much stuff that I want to play for you guys before we sign off today. The first thing I want to play for you is earlier on the show, we had Dr. Jesse Morse on the show. He has been helping NFL players for 25 years, certainly qualified to speak on this subject regarding Patrick Mahomes. He actually has a sense of optimism. He thinks that Mahomes is going to play on Saturday against the Texans. I want you guys to hear what he has to say. Our conversation started with, is there an advantage when it comes to the training staff with the fact that Mahomes has had similar injuries like this in the past?
Definitely. Unfortunately, those are just the ones that we know about. The staff is well aware, and he's well aware of what he can do, what he can't do, what he should be able to do this week, what he'll be able to do the following week. And grade ones, as frustrating as they are, because he's not what I call a position player, so your wide receivers or your running backs or tight ends, he's not running routes. It won't bother him as much. I mean, he'll still have issues mobilizing in the pocket and stepping into his throws. This is his back leg, so trying to push off may be a little frustrating. But he's done this before. He knows the routine. He knows what works for him and what doesn't work for him. He might, sleep in a hyperbaric chamber. He might just work with a lot of PTs. He may do some underwater work, which helps take stress off it. I don't think he's going to go for injections, but maybe that's an option. Maybe he wears a certain type of ankle sleeve or support to help decrease some of that pain and stress. There's different things. I use something called a PEMF, which is a magnet that you can help to speed up the healing. You can also use red light therapy for this. So he'll know different things that you can do to improve the blood flow to the area, which thereby improves the healing and decreases the swelling and inflammation.
Right now, we're talking to Dr. Jesse Morse, learning a little bit more about the injury to Patrick Mahomes. You mentioned it just a bit. Let's dive a little deeper into it. What is the recovery time for an injury like this, and is there long-term effects? You mentioned it just a little bit, that this possibly could have been avoided by surgery. Certainly understand why you don't want to have surgery on this and you want to let it naturally heal. But do you think this is something that they're going to have to address in the offseason to maybe curb this just a little bit moving forward?
That's a good question. In general, if he won't feel 100% probably for the next 5 to 6 months, to be honest with you. These are very frustrating injuries. Even a couple months out, some of the players, especially the ones that are running routes and cutting, they just don't feel as confident. This is very common to lose explosiveness. So this is classic for zapping explosiveness. They have trouble coming out of routes and stuff like that. That doesn't really apply to Mahomes, but when he's training, he's going to do a lot of that stuff. No, I don't think he'll probably undergo surgery here because a lot of the guys, if they have surgery, it feels they restrict them, like they can't do certain things that they would previously be able to do. Yes, they may feel more confident that ankle, but if they try to avoid the high ankle, we've also seen some interesting things. A year later, some guys, they get other types of injuries because the ankle doesn't quite move like it should be able to move. But in general, if he was a position player, he would probably miss 2 to 3 weeks if another player, say Kelsey or Juju or somebody, one of the position players that are running routes, if they suffer this is a 2 to 3 week injury on average. These are very frustrating. A lot of the quarterbacks have a tendency to try to power through. Trevor Lawrence did that earlier this year. Justin Herbert did that last year. They just try to power through because they're such a vital part of the team, and they want to secure that number one spot. Maybe if they're up big, they'll let Wentz kind of go in a little bit. But if I were a betting man, I would say he's on the field next week.
I was just going to ask that. It sounds to me like you think he's going to play. I bring that up because if you look at the point spread, they have Houston as a slight favorite in this game, 2.5 points. Vegas, the odds makers are telling me they don't think he's going to play. But you're the doctor here. It sounds like you think there's a chance that he could play on Saturday.
I know his history well. I don't know him personally, but I study NFL players and injuries. I've been doing this since 2017. So there's certain guys that you will have to chop off their leg to get them out of the field, and this is one of those guys. They're in a good position right now, so maybe they say, hey, no, we're going to have you take off this week. But if it's up to him, he's going to play. That's just who he is. That's just the caliber of competitiveness he has. He has never missed a game due to an ankle injury, and this is number 6. So if history is any indicator, he will play through this like he has the others.
So it sounds to me like you believe that he can play. I guess I'm asking your opinion here. Would you play him? Because I'm thinking of what are the positives in this scenario? What are the negatives in this scenario? And with the playoffs right around the corner, I don't know if I'm personally willing to roll the dice on a regular season game. I personally wouldn't play Mahomes here, but you're the doctor. Would you play him on Saturday?
So he still has 3 regular season games. Likely a bye, maybe not. We'll see. Is he at higher risk for re-injury and worsening this injury like he did a couple of years ago? Yes. If he took 2 to 3 weeks off, would he perform better? Maybe a little bit, but probably not a whole lot. And would he lower his risk of re-injury? Yes, but I don't think missing the time, in my opinion, for his specific position is worth, unless it's not a true grade 1. If it's grade 2, it's a different story, but even then he's powered through. I just think there's a very good chance that he's going to play through this because he knows his importance to the team.
Last thing here, is there a chance, possibly, that the Chiefs wouldn't play him on Saturday and they would maybe target the game against Pittsburgh more and kind of give him those extra 3-4 days of recovery time because they do have 2 games in a very short, condensed period of time?
Yeah, that's the one caveat that I think could switch this because they have that weird Christmas Wednesday game. That turnaround, especially on a high ankle from Saturday to, even though it's an extra day, 3 games in 10, 12 days, whatever the time period is a very short amount of time, and it's a lot of stress on that ankle. So if there's any reason why they're going to hold him out, it's probably because of that relatively important game against the Steelers.
That was Dr. Jesse Morris. He was on the show earlier today. If you missed any part of our conversation with him, check the podcast page, 965thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. I'm not playing Patrick Mahomes on Saturday. I understand what is at stake, but the Chiefs have a little bit of leeway. The Chiefs have 1 loss, and Buffalo has 3 losses. The Chiefs have to lose 2 more times in their final 3 games for the tiebreaker to even factor in. So you have a game at a minimum you can play with and potentially roll the dice. So what I would do if I'm the Chiefs is I tell Patrick Mahomes to sit on ice for this week. If you win, great. If you lose, Mahomes comes back and plays the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you try to finish out the season and give yourself the bye and all the rest that you need. But I'm not playing Patrick Mahomes on Saturday and then having him turn around and with a bum ankle play 2 times in such a quick turnaround. That's not how I would handle things. I think we'll get more clarity tomorrow because it's a short week. So tomorrow's not a regular off day for Kansas City. They are going to practice. We are going to hear from the media tomorrow. So I'm expecting to get an update on where we stand with Patrick Mahomes. And I don't think they'll announce a starter tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be one of those game time decisions. I do think we'll know before Friday on whether or not Patrick Mahomes is going to start, and that information could come from the Chiefs or one of the many NFL reporters out there. Everybody is trying to figure out this scoop. Coming up on the other side, I do want to play for you guys what Mitch Holthus had to say. We have a doubleheader tonight at Monday Night Football, and we saw one of the more fun Heisman races conclude this weekend. We'll get to it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Carrington from The Drive here, and I just found out that Daisy Sour Cream launched French onion and ranch sour cream dips. I love some dip. And these new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are an absolute game changer. They taste just as good as if they were homemade. They're made with Daisy Sour Cream, real herbs and spices. The new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are made with ingredients you can find in your kitchen, nothing more. Give these new French onion and ranch dips from Daisy a try. They go perfect with all your favorite chips, wings, veggies. Celebrate the holidays with Daisy dips.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Pizza Tashio, the king of Kansas City's New York-style pizza scene, has taken KC by storm. Pizza Tashio uses the highest quality local and organic ingredients, hand-tossed by KC natives. Oh, and did I mention they were voted KC's favorite pizza? Place your order now for pickup or delivery at pizzatashio.com. Or stop in for a slice at any of their locations in OP, Midtown, North KC, St. Joe, Waldo, or Belton, and dive into the taste that's conquering Kansas City, one slice at a time.
This is a special report from the Missouri Lottery. There's still time to get holiday scratchers and draw games for everyone on your shopping list, even if you are the one at the top of said list. Don't worry, we won't tell. The Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Looking to start your new career now? Well, how about a career in IT in as little as 4 months over at our friends at Centric? A new career by the time the big game is over in February. Just go to Centric.com and talk to our friend Russ Mondry. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Tonight, conditions will be clear with a low of 33.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws a block, and his teammate scores instead. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The Gingerbread Holiday Pop-Up at T-Mobile Center. The Gingerbread is Kansas City's newest and most delicious destination this holiday season. Located at Conica Minolta Founders Club inside T-Mobile Center, the Gingerbread is a magical, one-of-a-kind experience where you can celebrate in style. You'll love it. Visit t-mobilecenter.com for more.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic brought to you by Park and Go. Your holiday travel made easy with all covered airport parking. A couple of collisions in North Kansas City. Got the first one southbound 35 right at Armour Road. That's closing 2 left lanes. Another crash 152 highway eastbound just past 435. That's closing the left lane. And a crash that has moved off to the shoulder but still slowing things down westbound 435 just before Antioch. Heading out of town this holiday season, let Park and Go take the stress out of holiday travel. With easy online reservations, free shuttles, luggage assistance, and all covered parking, you'll be jingle bell ready. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Happiest of holidays from Park and Go. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
Rob, I'm going to tell you something in confidence, and I'm going to hope that you don't tell anybody. We'll get back to the Chiefs in a little bit, but I want to tell you that I, for the first time this weekend, have acknowledged that I potentially have a problem. You know that I recently finished rewatching The Sopranos, right? I think I probably finished it in, like 6 weeks? It didn't take me that long. I know I started it after Halloween, because I kept seeing the memes, and I started watching Sopranos. So it didn't take me that long to finish it. This weekend, Rob, I watched the documentary on it with David Chase. I ordered the book. I watched the movie. And I have already rewatched season 1 of Sopranos and am on my time watching it through again. I just can't stop. I have opened up the portal, and Rob, I can't stop watching the show. That's all I do. There was no college football this weekend. That's all I did. I watched the NBA Cup or The Sopranos. That was it. I didn't watch anything else on Saturday. Nothing else. What else am I going to watch?
You didn't want to lock in for Mizzou LIU?
No, I didn't watch a second of that. I will lock into their game against Illinois. Happy to lock into that. I've already started mapping their schedule to find out when I'm going to go to my next Missouri basketball game. But, yeah, man, I can't stop.
You know there are shows that have come out since The Sopranos that are good. They're even on that same app. You can click Max. And
I don't want to watch any of those shows. I don't have any interest in watching those other shows. I literally no interest in watching them.
I'm off most of next week for the holiday. I'm going to come back in the new year. You're going to be like, you'll never guess what I finished. Sopranos.
I don't think I'm going to go all the way through this time.
That's what you said last time. You're like, I started rewatching because I see the memes. And then all of a sudden, the finale, you're in this office with me and Spec being like, here's how I think it went down. I'm like, bro, what happened?
You don't understand. This weekend, I'm not even joking. I went back and I made a list of my 5 favorite characters. I made a list of my 5 least favorite characters. And then I wrote down what my favorite episodes were from the series. I'm like in it, really in it the last couple of weeks. I can't explain. It's been a while since something like this has just taken a hold on me the way that this show is just taking a hold on me. I'm serious. It's been a while. If you haven't watched the documentary, it's fantastic. It's called Wise Guy. It's on HBO Max, where they have like all this behind the scenes, and then they show you the audition tape for the characters, and oh, it's so good.
Have you at least watched the movie yet?
I did watch the movie this weekend. Yeah, I watched it.
I don't know why I asked. That was obvious. You hadn't seen the movie.
I ordered the book.
Oh, my Lord.
They have a book where like David Chase writes and he gives his thoughts on every single episode, and they talk to the writers about how I ordered it. It comes tomorrow. I'm going to read the book. I can't stop. I really can't. I have a problem. Are you watching this doubleheader tonight?
No.
Okay. I didn't know.
It's one good team and one watchable team, and then just 2 dogs. I'm going to spend my Monday night watching the Raiders or the Bears play football. No, that's not how I spend my time. Especially considering the next 11 days going to have so much football. We got Friday night, the playoffs, Saturday, the NFL in the playoffs, Sunday, the NFL, Monday, the NFL, Wednesday, the NFL. I'm going to use one of my nights away from the league to watch the Raiders. No thanks.
Raiders Falcons.
I don't want to watch Kirk Cousins fail to throw it to me and you. I'm good.
Raiders Falcons. Someone said you got to get ready for Squid Game. That is a good point. I actually did rewatch Squid Game last year. I rewatched the season, so I feel pretty caught up on Squid Game. I think I might watch the season 1 finale before season 2, but no, that season of Squid Game 2, that will be completed by the weekend. I cannot wait for the second season of Squid Game. Cannot wait. I hope they just give it to us all at one time. Because I could see them, you know how it's like, oh, we'll show you 2 episodes now, and then we'll give you 3 in a week. Nah, bro, don't do it like that. Just drop the whole thing on the app and let me watch it on my own time, which is probably going to be 3 days. We got off days too? Oh, yeah. And next weekend, there's not even any college football games. I guess it's bowl games, but I'd much rather watch Squid Game 2 than watch the Alamo Freeze Bowl. I'm not watching that nonsense. Okay, you going to a bowl game this year? What bowl game they make it?
To be fair, now that Marshall's dropped out, they could go to a bowl game. The window's reopened.
They're going to take Marshall's spot.
I actually don't think they will, but can you imagine they did? Boy, that'd be hilarious.
Oh, my goodness. Where's that bowl game even at?
I don't know anything about that bowl game other than Marshall lost 25 players to the portal and can't field a squad.
Oh, man. All right, y'all. I know we said we talk about the Chiefs. Check the podcast page. We talked about them a lot today. I'm just had to tell you guys about my problem. If you guys want to see my Sopranos list, I'll share it with you guys at some point. I did make a list, my 5 favorite characters, least favorite characters, and my 5 favorite episodes from watching the series. All right. I had so much fun today. I hope that you guys also had fun today. I'm looking forward to a great week. This is our last full week together, Rob and I. And then we take some holiday break, and you know how it goes. All right. Chiefs Kingdom up next. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State